Try again.
In 50 yards, turn right. You've missed the turn. You're out of your mind.
Hello. I think, oh, we're live. Wynn's my producer today, so everyone who's tuning in, Wynn, are we live?
NUFC Early Night News with Gary the Geordie Yum Yum, Andrew Bokey, Christina Cage, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 8 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Hello, welcome to another episode, and this is actually my 8 p.m. debut. I think I've hosted before. I've been on many times, as everyone will know in the comments, because I mainly get loads of stick. However, it's my 8 p.m. debut, and I'm joined by Bogey, the Mighty Win, and Tina Tooney. I love that name. I don't think I've been on with Tina yet, but I love that name. Tina Tooney is awesome. How are you guys doing? I'm going to come to Tina first because we're gentlemen, aren't we? So, Tina, how are you doing? You okay?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for asking. How are you?
I'm all right. I've survived work, so I can't complain. And then we'll go age before beauty. So, Bogey, how you doing?
Good, yeah. Yes, that's all, mate.
I'm living my dream. And Win, are we all good? Win's my producer
Always
today.
good after a win. Always good after a win.
After Win's my producer today. So if anyone's putting comments, everyone who's commenting, it's all going to be down to Win. And I think Bogey if it's seen. So hopefully you can hammer them rather than me. Anyway, we've got an unbelievable show coming up. We're going to talk about loads. We're going to talk about the final game coming up. A little bit of a season verdict. There's more Lewis Hall transfer news. Oh my God, I'm having Alexander Isak PTSD already with the amount of links and the money getting thrown about. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Newcastle's summer transfer window. Not in too much detail, but there's been one player specifically who's been linked today, which gets me very excited. We're also going to talk about AI. My God, Mighty Win is already the voice of AI, and we'll come back to that as well when we talk about it. And we're going to talk about St James's Park. Lots of upgrades have been announced. There's a massive future vision coming out, and there's also been some things breaking literally as I was coming on here, which I'm going to try and include as well. So make sure you stay with us all evening, 8 till 9:30. Then there's a late show after us as well. Right, let's start with the first talking point. Final game of the season, Fulham away. I've heard some fans say there's not much to play for. I've heard other fans say we can still get Europe. I've heard other fans say finishing above Sunderland is vital. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on how you're feeling going into it. Because for me, in terms of a result and pressure, I don't know. I'm not. You always want to win, but it doesn't feel that big. It just feels like we don't really have anything to play for. I don't know if Europe's realistic. So that's where I'm going to start. Is Europe actually doable? I think we need Chelsea. Actually, I don't think it is because Chelsea beat Tottenham. Sunderland need to draw with Chelsea or lose to Chelsea.
We cannot finish above both Sunderland and Chelsea now.
So we just need to finish above Sunderland. That's going to be the main.
So even if they draw, one of them will be on 53 points.
But we'll finish above Sunderland for goal difference, won't we? Is that right?
Yeah, we can finish above Sunderland quite easily if we win and they don't. But that then revolves around a hugely complicated thing. Liverpool would need to finish above Villa, and which they could do, but it's virtually impossible now.
I agree. It's virtually impossible. I'm not going to ask about it. I'm going to ask about kind of the last game of the season. How you're feeling about it, and how bothered are you about finishing above Sunderland? I know that might seem like a stupid question to Newcastle fans, because the obvious answer is, of course, we're bothered. But I mean, personally, we've beat us twice this season. This season hasn't been good. I don't think finishing below Sunderland makes it particularly any worse. It's already been pretty poor. So, Bogey, how are you feeling about the last game of the season? And is it imperative that we finish above Sunderland?
The way this season's went, the beat were twice. I mean, they're going to have the bragging rights no matter what. It doesn't really matter at all. Even if we did somehow get above them, then it's a small victory, isn't it? It's a small thing if over the fact that they've come to St James's and turned over at the Stadium of Light.
After being won this,
in regards to this game, I just think, it's for me it's a game where you use your youth, you go in because there's nothing to play for. It's Trippier had his fantastic send off at St James's. he's all that's gone now. We know he's off. So I mean, for me, you chuck like a Shahar into the team in that position.
Oh, okay.
Because what's the point in playing Trippier when he's not going to be here next season and there's nothing to play for in this game? You have Alex Murphy ready to come on off the bench. You have Neve ready to come on off the bench. You potentially have Park in the team. Play him on the left wing. Play Barnes right, him left. Try things up a little bit. It's
I
there's
quite like
nothing to
that.
play for, so just go for it. Just
Okay.
bring a couple of youngsters in.
I quite like that idea because I've been saying for a while actually, we don't actually know how good the youngsters are, and they might not have been put in because we're literally nowhere near. But I guess it's a good way to find out if you do chuck a couple in, and we've probably played together before in youth squads, so we might have a little bit of chemistry already. Tina, last game of the season, are you excited? Is it a bit of a chore? And is it actually that important to finish above Sunderland anymore?
I mean, I think it would, even though we did get turned over by them twice, and we played probably two of our worst games against them this season, I still think it would be probably quite fun for a lot of fans if we did finish above Sunderland, just so that we don't have that to add to our list of things that's gone wrong this season. We're like, oh, and Sunderland finished above us. So it would be nice to get above them. It would be nice to get a victory for two reasons. One, I think we might be debuting the new strips. I'm not 100% sure of that, but there is a chance that we'll see a new shirt. So it would be nice to get off to a winning start, if that is the case. And two, it'll be nice to finish on a high, wouldn't it? Like, rather than kind of having that loss and then going into like the pre-season or the summer break, and people just thinking, oh, well, we're still garbage, we couldn't even beat the league. The conversation is going to be better if we get like a massive win and people are like, oh, this could be exciting, maybe it's not garbage. Like, it would be really nice. I do also agree with Bogey though that I would probably overall prefer to see us give a couple of the younger players a try. Maybe Shahar would be the best one for the starting lineup. I'd love to see Seung Soo come on at some point as well. If I've butchered his name, I do apologise. If you listen,
But they're all
well,
Park.
see, I didn't want to kind of pigeonhole it by just saying, but I didn't want to like take the cop out or anything like that. But yeah, I'm always excited for Newcastle games, so I'm going to go into this one the same way I go in every game, which is hoping that we're going to turn the other team over.
Let's hope so. To be fair, I'd love to see a new shirt, but I don't think it's going to happen because Fulham play in white, so we can't. I don't think we're going to debut an away shirt before a home shirt. I don't think.
Apart from anything else, it would be a one-off in any case, wouldn't it? With the new shirt, with presumably it would still have Seller on the front.
I was going to say, I was just saying there, it's not going to happen because the new sponsor, the first time the shirt's worn, is going to want their name on the front, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I've led you down a garden path. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to. I didn't think I was lying until I just had all of the facts pointed out.
It sometimes does happen. It sometimes does that. They do.
I mean, we could. It's unlikely, but we could do it without a sponsor. I mean, we've seen Chelsea do a shirt without a sponsor and then add a sponsor later on. I think it's unlikely, but I mean, I hope.
Well, the only thing there would be Seller are paying for the sponsorship, so they're entitled to get
that last one. Yeah. Very complicated. Modern football's awful, isn't it? Why can't you just chuck a lager on it and be done with it? Win. Last game of the season. Excited. Looking for some youngsters. I like Borky's idea. I think Tina's on board with it as well to get a couple of youngsters in. But I also Tina almost half swayed me back the other way there, where I thought, well, imagine finishing above Sunderland after our worst season in 4 or 5 years, and it's their best season in 20 years, and even overturned us over twice, we still finish above them.
Exactly.
Imagine that now. So Tina made a great point. Win. How are you feeling about going into this last game?
Well, that's it. We've got to win it, but to get above Sunderland, that's imperative. Because Bogey's saying they've still got the bragging rights, but if they come with the bragging rights, have a look at the table, mate. Have a look at the table. Have a look at the table.
It'll be a small win after a very poor.
Hang on. Can I ask you a quick question here? Would you take finishing above them in the table over losing to them twice in the league? Would you say you'd rather finish above them, but if you happily finish...
Would I take that above beating them twice and finishing below them in the league? Absolutely, I would. which is
got a
Even
the
though
position
the
they'll
league
be in.
means nothing, even though the league won't mean anything.
Well, it means we're finished above them in the league. It means we're better than them.
better over 38 games. You're
I
right.
love that.
You are right. Better over
That's it.
38
The
games.
season is 38. Listen, it's not going to happen now. Obviously, Arsenal have won. But supposing Palace had beaten Arsenal on Sunday coming and Man City had won both their games, Man City would have won the league. And you would have been saying they were lucky to win the league because they relied on Crystal Palace beating Arsenal in the last game of the season. It's bollocks. The season is 38 games.
To be fair, the comments are actually quite interesting on this in terms of finishing higher means more prize money, which it does. Not fully sure on the difference in terms of maybe 1 or 2 places, but
Speaking of comments,
well, it's
little
2.5 million a place, isn't it?
there we go. There we go.
was dropped a super chat, by the way.
Yep, get
I
the
don't know if
super
you
chat in
both
win.
saw that.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I had done. Yeah, it's at last. It's the last game of the season, panel.
I don't think that's a compliment, but I'm going to try and pretend to take it as one because it's WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
No,
Anytime I get
think he means
mentioned.
The last game of the
last,
season,
as
panel,
in
and he's
regards
saying
to-
at last it's the last game
The
of the
last
season.
game, right?
It's
Got it.
been
Got it.
absolutely
Got
a
it.
nightmare,
It is.
isn't it?
Because
It
it
has
has
been
been a nightmare season.
It hasn't been great. Let's be honest. None
No
of us
doubt
can say it's
about
been a good season because it hasn't.
And yet,
However,
as we discussed in the previous show, still in the top 10 of all time.
it is. I said that, and I got. Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the sticker I got on that video?
Huh?
By the way, I got absolutely torn apart by every single comment. Just for, I wasn't even. I even said because I think I said to Borky, I said, Borky, I'm not trying to say it's a good season. It's not. But
not.
just to put it into some context of how crap Newcastle have been, it's still in the top 10 seasons of my lifetime, and I think
And
everyone
mine.
agreed. Yeah.
I think if you put it into the seasons of the past, though, I mean,
Oh,
you
we
can't
were
really
hoping.
say this season's been great because we've been shit every other season in the past. You know,
Yeah.
sort of-
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there you go. But it's still in the top 10 of all time. And this again brings me back to expectations. And-
Expectations are higher now, and I think rightly so because of the takeover and because of where we've been. But we also, I'm a big believer as well in terms of expectations. That I said it ages ago. Howe's a victim of his own success in a way. Yes, he hasn't been good enough this season. This isn't me defending him before people start jumping in the comments all over us again, because it hasn't been a good season and Howe hasn't improved. I agree. However, it's very important to just be aware that if we never had a Champions League campaign, this season would still be disappointing, but we'd be a bit like, oh, we'll make better progress next season. Anyway, don't want to talk about that.
Do you think that this season's performance will lower expectations for next season, or do you think it'll just be toxic all summer and the same expectations going to be there? Or
I think he's in absolute dire straits if we don't start next season well.
Yep.
I think everybody's pinning the hopes on the fact that, you know, this has been an exceptional season in regards to games that we've played and the way that, you know, the excuses are being able to be made over transfers and things like that. None of that will be around next season in regards to the structure of the club or anything like that. If we start next season the way Howe started the majority of the seasons that he's been here, which is slow, I think the pressure will be boiling up and up and up on him from the very start. But as you say, we'll not get on to Howe.
so
No.
I thought, don't worry, I've got a bet on us to win the league next season. So yes,
I always
Come
have bet
on.
on us to win the league. RSL resident Liverpool supporters saying you won a trophy last year. Sunderland haven't since 1973 or whatever. That's your shield against attack.
We don't need a
Use it.
shield against a smaller club. We just don't. We don't like.
Why?
It is what it is. Like, we are a bigger club. It's great for them. We've had a season of a lifetime. We haven't been great, is what it is. Very quickly, last thing on this weekend's game coming up. Are we going to line up with kind of 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1, 4-2-3-1 kind of massive fluid formation? Is he going to stick with it? Could we see something new? Could it be potentially? I don't know what could be new. Actually, I've just mentioned 3 formations. We haven't played too much this season. We're kind of linking between them, but I don't think any of us expect a 4-3-3, do we? And would we be disappointed if he did go back to that?
I think you have to start with Altamada and Masula up front, don't you? That's
Yeah.
an obvious one.
They look
You know,
good.
them two lads have started scoring goals together. You know, if you've got a strike force that are beginning to develop a partnership, you don't change that.
Mm-hmm.
The midfield, if Tonali, I'm sure we'll come on to this, if he is thinking of leaving, maybe it's worth leaving him out. You know, maybe it's worth a few of the lads who are
We do pretty
You know,
well when
there's
we leave
room-
Tenolio.
Yeah, when there's rumours around, maybe it's worth if they're true and Eddie Howe has an inkling that these guys want away, then leave them out like he has with Gordon. To be fair to him, I can't completely agree with his stance with Gordon. You know, keep him out the team. You know, if he's not committed to the team, then get him out. And you know, as I said the other night on the show, there was an interview with Rob Lee where he actually went round as the captain and asked players if they were committed to the team. I think that's maybe what the leadership team need to do.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe needs to be, maybe he's asking them to do that. And if they're not, he turns around and he goes, right, if you're not committed, you're out the team.
Yeah, fair.
Brian Penny saying, play everyone who's staying next season. Hang on, would we have enough players?
Well, weird.
we might not have-
Who knows?
Fulham might find it easy to score because we might have a goalkeeper.
Good point. Good point. None of it keepers there.
Gillespie's going nowhere.
Gillespie going nowhere. Get him in goal.
Oh,
Get
he's
him
going to
in.
get a new contract, isn't he? It happens every year.
To be fair, Jacob Ramsey started to look pretty good, which is nice to see. One of the, again, the summer window, again, I've said it loads. In hindsight, it looked amazing. Alanga hasn't had a good season. Of course, he hasn't. Ramsey's took a while to get going, but it's nice to see Ramsey getting going. It's nice to see Volta scoring again. Chow has been one of the best, well, the best signing of the summer. I think that's probably not debatable. So yeah, hopefully they can have a good game. However, it's going mental in the comments, so we're going to move on straight away because Lewis Hall. Couple of things here. Looks like he's not going to be in the England squad. However, it's only rumours, but we're normally quite accurate at this time of the year. So I definitely wouldn't be expecting him to be called up to England. And the other thing is, it's not over for him just yet because how many times have we seen players get injured just before a World Cup on that last day of the season and then somebody have to come in to replace him? So it's not completely over for Lewis Hall. But when it comes to talking about Lewis Hall, Alexander Isak, PTSD is kicking in. He has been linked with, let me just make sure I get this right, Chelsea. A return to Chelsea he's been linked with. He's been linked with Manchester United, pretty much taken over from Luke Shaw as a young English left-back. Bayern Munich, for some reason, are looking at every single one of our players, because I saw Sula linked to him, but they're looking at Lewis Hall as well. In God's sake, Liverpool have also been linked, and I just don't think I can take Liverpool coming in and just flexing the muscles, taking another player we don't want to lose. So I guess we've got to talk about this because I thought last year, it's rubbish. Isak will stay, don't worry about it. And now I'm kind of scarred and think everything which goes on the internet must be true. Lewis Hall, money-wise, it was talked about 55 to 60 million pound. So I'm going to get your thoughts on that in terms of he is a left-back. So I don't think we can demand 100 million pound for a left-back. That is just the way football works. When you look at transfers, strikers always go for more money than defenders. And again, he's a left back, so is he replaceable? Look, I think Lewis Hall's a great player. I think he hasn't reached his ceiling yet, personally. But I want to get your thoughts on, are we actually going to lose Lewis Hall? For a long time, it was Tino and Tonali and Gordon. Now this looks a little bit worrying for me. So, you know what, Tina, ladies first. I'll come to you, but Waz has got another super chat, so we'll get Win to read that out, and then I'm coming straight to you, Tina.
Tina, are you a running back? 33. Can't see the number.
It is 33.
It is indeed number 33 for the
Big
Jacksonville
damn
Jaguars back when Jones was wearing the number. I think he was actually a defensive linesman, but don't quote me on that because I didn't actually start watching American football as much when this shirt was produced. But back on the Lewis Hall and European football. First of all,
Proper
can we put, don't get us started because I'm a massive American football fan. You don't want this smoke win. Who's your team?
Patriots.
All right, fair play. So
Eagles.
so you're an Eagles fan. Boki, you must have an American football team. You might as well get your licks in.
I honestly have never ever watched an American
Packers
football game in my life.
Oh, we'll have to educate you on a bit of American football. You'll absolutely
Don't
love
watch
it.
Premier League football either, to be honest.
I'm saying nothing.
I'm getting accused of being a Freemason in chat now, by the way. But back on the Lewis Hall, can we first of all dispel this undervaluing of fullbacks situation? I've taken this up with other people in the past on this show. I've taken it up with Chris. How much would you pay for a prime Roberto Carlos? 50 million? Way more, correct?
No,
about Cafu?
defensively he wasn't great. He's amazing to watch. I think in this modern market, max I would pay for a prime Roberto Carlos. How many games is he going to win? 60, 65? Good price. I wouldn't pay more than 65 million for any fullback.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Look, Dani Alves, Cafu.
Nah.
Really?
65 million for a
Wow,
fullback.
That's wild.
Well,
Are you
put it
kidding
this
me?
way: Chelsea paid 65 million for Cucurella. What, 4 years ago? And
Yeah,
How
ridiculous.
much of transfer price has risen since then?
I think the only fullback I think I might break my own rule for is Ashley Cole, because he was genuinely unbelievable. One of my favourite players growing up. I might go as far as 70, but he's a fullback. Why would you spend most of your budget on? I mean, you could get somebody in like, what's the guy called from? I mean, people are going to go nuts here because it's an ex-Bournemouth player. I know he's a right back / centre half. Hill. Is it Hill? What's his first name? Can't remember. Jay Hill. Forgot his first name. But you could get someone like him for 25, 30 million. You do not as good of a job as a Roberto Carlos or a Cafu. Of course he wouldn't. But he would be solid enough to kind of carry the rest of the team, the important positions, such as centre half, centre midfield, striker, winger.
Okay.
Do you think we'll get a little bit with players at Newcastle in regards to prices and things like that? Just keeping on the topic, but going slightly off. We look at it as because we said them players week in, week out, and we're beginning to build a relationship with them, and we love them because they're tuned players. If you imagine being a fan of Barcelona, Arsenal, Man United, would you be sitting there thinking, "Well, the biggest signing we need to make this season is Lewis Hall"?
No, it's because
I know
he's a fullback. I agree. It's not disrespectful towards all. He's just
that's not what I'm trying to be. It's just as I say, are fullbacks ever going to be that signing that you, as a fan base, you think, oh, I mean, this season, are we going to sit there and think, oh, we're going out to get this fullback? That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know,
Never.
I think that's the way to look at it a little bit.
Well, put it this way: the last time we were top of the league, before the Howe era, was, we went and paid 4 million for Warren Barton, which was a record at the time for any defender.
Cult hero, Warren Barton.
Yeah, Blue Chip Brigade.
And somebody thought he was worth it, and he was going to give that value to the team.
But no,
that was Kevin Keegan, aye.
But when we did that, did anybody think, oh, get him, we've got Warren Barton? You thought, get him, we've got David Ginola, but it's not calling Hall out, it's not calling any fullback out. It's just that fullbacks aren't seen as, the importance of players further forward.
Like even like fullbacks we've had who I've loved, like Debussy and Santon and stuff. Like I've loved them, but like I've never thought, oh, I'll be absolutely devastated if they go. And again, there's exceptions. So Cafu for me is probably one of the best right backs of all time. Like I loved watching him, but I still wouldn't pay. I wouldn't pay most of my budget for any fullback. Super chat.
I don't think it's the teams he's being linked with. It ain't going to be most of their budget. These clubs have got.
Yeah, but is Bayern Munich really going to pay 65 to 70 million on a left back?
I don't know.
Never going to happen.
Were we a better team before Jose Enrique was bought by Liverpool?
We were better with Enrique in the team
when we had Habibai or Norberto Solano instead of Danny Simpson.
Yeah, you're always a better team with a better right back or a better left back.
Yeah, exactly. Fullbacks are very, very important players. You look at, especially in the modern game.
I don't think they're very, very important.
You can go around the full team and do that. If you
can do that for anybody. I agree.
You could say any player makes the team better if they're a better player than you've sold.
I do have a cherry for this martini though, which is, don't put cherries in a martini, but that is, who is the most important Newcastle United signing in the last decade?
Bruno.
And I'll give you a Is
Bruno.
he?
Oh,
Bruno, 100%.
You think he was a more important signing to this club than Kieran Trippier?
I know what you're going to say, and I'm not going to
started the floodgate, who kept us in the
Bruno.
Premier League. Oh, I love Bruno. He's one of my favourite players. But Trippier's the most important.
Trippier got injured, didn't he? I don't know if he. I know what you're saying in terms of he started the floodgates in terms of people coming in a position where we were battling relegation.
Completely bossed
in
the
terms
team.
of on the pitch and importance, once Bruno had signed, he was much more important to contributing towards winning games. Trippier was injured for most of first season.
Be fair to Tina, I think you can say that the signing of Trippier was a leadership role that he came in as well.
It was a mint signing.
When Bruno first signed, he could hardly speak English, and we couldn't lead on the pitch. Whereas Tina's right, he was important in regards to leading on the pitch. But I think as an overall side, and I think the most important over the 10 years has been Bruno. But I don't think Trips is far behind.
Yeah, Trips is up there, but not.
As I say, if you look at it from a leadership point of view, I completely agree with
leadership
you.
point of view,
leadership team, he is the most important signing over the last 10 years. So it depends on what angle you're looking at it from.
Just to break topic for was a super chat. I played American football.
Yes,
had trials with both Washington Presidents and Newcastle Senators. TJ was impressed with my speed and endurance, Tina. So
I've heard Wazza's had a few trials.
and Jones wasn't running back.
Just being £5 fat. Cheers, Wazza. But when you've been
yes, Wazza, mate, I was only kidding.
Thank you for the super chats, Wazza. Though you're an absolute legend on this channel.
Legends for giving us.
But in regards to Lewis Hall, if I can just ask one more thing as well. If England aren't taking him to the World Cup, how does that make sense? You could say what you want about the fact that he missed a few games, but Lewis Hall's by far been at least in the top 3 left backs in the Premier League, and only one of those is English. How are you justifying not taking him to the World Cup? I mean, Lewis Hall has been phenomenal. I know people are saying,
who says he's not going to the World Cup? That's what I want to know.
Kev just said it.
Craig Hope's reporting it as well.
The squad's announced tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah,
I think most of the players would have been told today, and it's probably been leaked by families, and Craig Hope's got a hold of it, and it's probably quite accurate.
Can I just say, I think
Ryan
it's an absolutely brilliant.
I think we'll walk this summer.
No, you can't say anything, Bucky.
Agents are all over time to get them a big deal elsewhere.
I think it's a great decision for Hall not to go to the World Cup, because he gets a summer of rest and comes back fully rested fully ready next season for Newcastle. So
genius by Eddie Howe. Genius by Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Well done, Sir Edward Howe. Looks like
he knew what he was doing all along, getting him off that plane. Well done, well done.
Now England's got to try to win a World Cup with Dan Burn at left back. Like, how's that going to work out for you?
Nico O'Reilly's there.
The Bevers are saying Howe never liked Hall. He's always been harsh on him, and this will have upset.
I'm not sure how true that is. He didn't play him early on because he wanted to protect him.
RSL from Liverpool, so I don't know how he knows, but he says, I think Hall told him a while ago that a big team was after him and he wanted out in summer, and that upset Eddie.
It would do.
And then the Bevers again, how will replace Hall with Robinson or Mitchell? I bet. To Jerry.
I don't think Howe's particularly had a problem with Hall. I think it's more Mitchell that's had the problem with him, from the rumours I've heard anyway. Which,
that's for a later bit of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll move on. We won't move on because we're still going to keep talking about Lewis Hall because of a transfer interest. And I guess I want to get your thoughts on. Look, like, I know it's this time of year. I think every single one of our so-called better players is going to be linked with a move away. I think that's just inevitable now in the modern day world of football, with agents and families and everybody talking, and somebody's pet dog knows the other person's pet goldfish who told them about something else. So that is just the way modern football is, unfortunately. However, what price would you accept for Lewis Hall? Because again, for me, I think Lewis Hall is very good, by the way, but I do think at times, and I'm going to get hammered again, but it is what it is. I truly believe it. I think at times we overrate some of our players. Lewis Hall's had a great season. He's been fantastic. However, we can't forget the time. I think Ryan absolutely rinsed him. There was another lad at Brighton who turned him inside out a couple of times. Recently hasn't looked the same Lewis Hall as he was probably at the start of the season. Now you can argue confidence and being dropped and all that stuff can contribute to that. Of course it can. He's still a young player who's developing, but I think we've got to be very realistic in terms of, look, like, he's not a finished article. He might never become a finished article, but yeah, he's good. He's a good left back, very good. What price would you take for him? And if these teams are coming in, you can probably bump up the price if there's a bit of a bidding war, but just what price would you be happy with? I'm seeing a comment there saying 50 to 60 million, and I might tend to agree. I think 50 might be too little.
Not a chance.
No? What would you say,
Not
Wayne?
a chance. I would be starting at 80.
80? Nobody's paying. You're putting
Right?
nobody's paying.
Okay.
Fair.
Smashing.
£80 million. But what if he turns around and says,
I'd take-
you've been unrealistic, you need to lower the price because I get that you want me to stay, but you literally, you're making it unrealistic for me to get a move here. Nobody's going to pay 80. What do you then do? Do you then bow down to player power? Do you lower the price? I don't know. It's interesting.
I'd make a press conference and I'd say, no, sorry, go on, Boggy.
No, go on.
I was going to say I'd make a press conference. I'd say, come on, Lewis, you tell the journalists here and the 52 screaming fans that turn up every week to watch you play football why you want to leave this football club, and I'll see who comes in and bids for you.
I think if Eddie Howe did that,
stand on their own laurels.
He'd be absolutely smashed by Newcastle fans if Eddie Howe actually did that, unfortunately. I'd like to see it, but it won't
Make
happen.
people stand up and be counted. Like, make them be accountable.
agree.
Don't let them just hide behind the internet. Oh, my agent said this. If you want to leave this football club, you come and tell us why you want to leave this
Tonali's
football
done
club
that, hasn't he?
and where you see yourself in 5 years' time.
No.
I think with Hall, you say if you get a bid of 60, 65 million, you look to sell him, but you make sure you get a sell-on clause in there.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he's the type of lad that, if he goes somewhere else and does develop, you potentially get a bit more money for him further down the line as well.
Yeah.
So hang on. So you're saying he could be worth more money?
Yeah, 100%.
And yet, fullbacks will not go for more money.
No,
I don't think he'll stay as a fullback.
Yeah, he could turn into
I
a
think
This
he'll
is where it
progress as a
starts.
midfielder or a left winger. So I think in regards to that, if you get 60, 65 million for as what he is at the minute, a fullback, you sell him, but you make sure that you future-proof yourself by putting I don't know if you can get it, maybe it's a 20% sell-on clause in his contract. So you get 20% or 15% even of the next transfer that you get. So, then you're getting your 80 million win straight away.
Right, what was I going to super chat in saying, Bogey, get your hair cut? There's other things in that comment that we're not going to put on.
Oh, wait, let me see it.
Oh, just go for it. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't any swear words.
Win,
Yeah.
Bogey, you're a proper knacker. Get your hair cut.
Goodness me.
Proper
Thank you for the
nut.
super chat, Wazza.
I'll keep growing it for you, mate. Wait till it's dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah, like that. So win 80 million, Bogey 65. I probably tend to agree around the 60 million mark. Tina, are you going 80 around win?
If you're going any less than 75 million, you need to have a 15 to 20% sell-on clause. I would. Okay, no, actually, if you're going anywhere below 70 million, I'd probably accept 75 up for him.
I just think that's underselling him. I think that's how good he is. My three no touches were Miley, Hall, and Bruno.
Yeah, same, to be fair.
Just
What's
no
going to be
way.
the problem this summer, though, is that...
But as you
don't-
say, Bogey, get it done. If he makes it
That's it.
clear he wants to go,
And the problem is, I don't think a Hall would want to go if we got Europe this season. I don't think a few of these players, I think if fair enough, like Tonali, he'd won Champions League, I would guess. But the rest of them, I think if we got Europa League at least, they would have been willing to stay. But I think because we're not going to have any form of Europe, we're probably going to lose more players than we would have if we'd got some form of Europe.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's tough, isn't it? Because if we go to another club in England, I think there's only, Liverpool almost missed out at one point. Who are the guarantees for Champions League in England at the minute? Probably Arsenal and City. And then anything can happen in the Premier. I mean, Man United hadn't been in it for, apart from the FA Cup. I think it was
they got
Europa
in when they were one game a week.
Yeah,
As did Villa last season.
Yeah, so Man United and Villa are kind of up and down. Liverpool almost missed out, but they have been in it the last 2 years. So maybe a Liverpool you might be guaranteed. But I mean, the wheels could fall off there, couldn't it? If Slot starts poorly and you're then not guaranteed Champions League.
The way football is now, it's not even about guaranteed. It's just about that season. As a player, you want to be playing in the Champions League that
so you
season.
go to the ones who qualify.
So you go to the one that's in there, and then, if you fail in it, then it's not your fault as the player, obviously, as we've found out up here. It's the manager's fault, or it's, the fans' fault, or it's some algorithm's fault that win things. But, but in all seriousness, the player gets away with it completely, and they move on to another club.
Yeah.
It's a tough world being a Premier League manager, basically, because everything falls on your toes, and the players, as I say, kind of get away with a lot.
Yeah. I think with Lewis Hall, I'm going to ask you one more question on him, and I think he's very good, but I don't know. I think we sometimes kind of, I don't know, how do I put this without getting absolutely slaughtered? Rose-tinted glasses, potentially. We almost forget mistakes which are made in terms of, I think it was Brighton at home again. He went to press but didn't fully commit, and then got caught out, and we got done down the right. And I'm thinking, yes, every player makes mistakes, and it's very important to be realistic about that. But what is Lewis Hall's ceiling? Can you honestly see Lewis Hall going to a Real Madrid one day or a Barcelona one day? Is that what his ceiling is?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Really, I don't know about
100%.
I think maybe the next level down for me personally, but
I'm tempted to say, if you're looking at through rose-tinted glasses, that if the other option that you've got at left back, when you watch one of them and then you watch Hall in there, Hall's always going to look better.
Good point.
That's the big problem.
And you're always better when you're not playing. So when Hall had a period out the team, people were going on like he's the greatest fullback in the world, and I was like, he's very good, and I like him. Like, don't get me wrong, I obviously like Lewis, but like, you've got to remember that he's not like invincible. He's not. You can get past him, you can get a yard on him, he can make mistakes. He does sometimes hold on to the ball too much, but is he ceiling really Barcelona? Like, I don't know. Go on, Tina. Tell us why he can end up playing for Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Why? Okay, so Steven Gerrard made one of the biggest mistakes in Liverpool's history. Absolutely fluffed it when he fell off on the halfway line. Would you take Steven Gerrard in his prime at Newcastle next season?
No, not after that mistake.
Because you're talking about a mistake. Lewis Hall starts attacks, breaks down opposition attacks.
Yeah, but other fullbacks can do that, though.
Okay, who's done it more consistently this season than Lewis Hall?
Well, the only reason I think Lewis Hall is because I watch Lewis Hall more than any other fullback. That's the only reason I think it. But there is other fullbacks out there. If I was to watch them more, I might be more impressed with, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, and maybe you would. I think Lewis Hall's fantastic. I think that what he brings to our team, not only defensively but also in the attacking side. I mean, he literally busts a gut to make tackles, which we saw a few times this season. Not every fullback does that. There's a lot of qualities that Lewis Hall brings to the table that not every Premier League or even professional footballer brings to your team, and add to that the fact that he absolutely glides past players, turning defending into attacking. We don't have a lot of players who could do that. In fact, a lot of people have complained all season about pendulum football and not being very creative. Lewis Hall, for all that he's a left back, and a lot of people maybe on this panel are underplaying the value of fullbacks, Lewis Hall is vital to some of our best moves this season and last season as well, to be fair.
I think he can be great. I'm not saying this because I don't know Lewis Hall. I just think my opinion of him.
You don't look convincing.
I think my opinion is slightly biased because I watch him every week and I don't watch other fullbacks every week. I think if I was to watch Bournemouth's fullback every week, or Nico O'Reilly every week, or somebody from, I don't know, Sevilla or wherever, I'm just randomly picking a team. If I was to watch them every week, then I might actually see a little bit more fault in Lewis Hall in terms of, well, I watch him every week, so I do see all the good stuff. And you're right, he can go past players, and he's brilliant on the ball. But he does sometimes take unnecessary risks. I know he's a young player, so it's natural. Of course it is. But I just think sometimes as Newcastle fans, because we watch them more than we watch other players, we overrate them a lot. And it's one of the best parts of being a Newcastle fan, in my opinion, because we take personally to our players. We defend them and protect them no matter what, because we absolutely adore them. But sometimes, from a business point of view, we have to take that away and think he probably is replaceable. 65, 70 million is an unbelievable amount of money. We might have to do business here because that's what the elite clubs do, other than Real Madrid, Barcelona, potentially Man City, because everyone else is a feeder club to them. But it's part of football, and we have to sometimes take that emotion away where we get really close and like connections to them. With Hall,
I agree with that entirely. And the thing is, as I say, if he makes it clear that he wants to go, Just get the deal done. And if that means taking £5 million less, so be it. Get the deal done quickly, over and done with. Lance the wood, lance the boil.
Replaceable, yeah. What do you think your ceiling is, Wayne? Quickly before I come to Borky, what can you see him at a Real Madrid, Barcelona one day if he were to leave us and then maybe go there? You think so? Yeah,
I think he's that good. You know, I thought it's a toss-up this season for me between Bruno and Hall for player of the season, and Bruno just shades it for me. But it's in the fans poll that the Premier League are doing. It's down to 2 now.
Down to Hall and Bruno, isn't it?
Don't. It's a toss-up between Hall and Bruno. They've got a poll going on there. Take your pick.
Got to be Bruno, hasn't it?
Got to be
I
Bruno.
think we've had 3 players, like 3 left backs in my lifetime at Newcastle that I can think of with blonde hair, basin cuts. We had Pias, we had John Beresford, and we had Hall. And to me, Hall's a mixture between John Beresford and Pias. Stuart Pearce wasn't at his best at Newcastle, so think of him more at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Pearce was brilliant at defensive. He was strong. I mean, I remember seeing him at Newcastle and he had thighs like bloody tree trunks. He was just built massively, but, you know, great player. And the other side was John Beresford, who was a very attacking player, could bomb forward. And I think Hall's a mixture between them two. Hall is better at defending than Beresford was, and better attacking than Pierce was. So I think you have got a hybrid left back, but again, you can't justify if we're going to be rebuilding this team, keeping them if we're offered 65, 70 million.
Yep, got to
Because
cash in.
you can get 2 more left backs for that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to get you're selling 1 player to get 2, and fair enough, the 2 that come in won't be as good or might not be as good. But you're giving yourself squad depth again.
Yeah.
You know, so I think because we haven't got Europe, we're going to have to accept the fact we're going to lose some of our better players.
Yeah. You could also then add maybe any leftover money from that 65, 70 to getting a player of another midfielder or a striker who's going to get an extra 5, 6, 7 goals. It'll be interesting. To be fair, the comments are quite interesting as well. It's quite mixed on this, which is good to see. We have another super chat win.
Indeed. And it is from Wazza again. Hall is the closest I've seen to Philip Lahm.
Philip Lahm? I didn't watch enough of him.
He was.
He's a good player. I just didn't see him
brilliant.
that much, if I'm honest. I know it's a compliment, though, because Philip Lahm is a...
There's a good point by the Beavers as well, to be fair, who says we're all overrating Hall, and Liverpool scouts, Manchester United scouts, Bayern Munich scouts, Chelsea scouts are all wrong too.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're
Got to
wrong.
look at who's interested in him. You know, I don't think we're overhyping Lewis Hall. He is an absolute future superstar of football.
Is he?
Yes, I've told you.
Prozaic's in, gifting
Future
another
superstar, Lewis
membership.
Hall.
Thank you, Prozaic.
Thank you,
Yes,
Prozaic. Legend. Okay, I'm interested. I thought about this Lewis Hall debate.
To Andrew Watson. So, Andrew, thank Mr. Prozaic, and please keep your membership alive.
Another membership. Help the channel grow. Love it. Like, subscribe, all the jazz you're probably sick of hearing, and you already know to do it anyway, so if you haven't, why haven't you? Oh, look at Borky's background there. Brilliant. That doesn't deserve anything. Nothing does. Beautiful. Okay, so Lewis Hall potentially could be exiting alongside, my God, half a squad apparently, according to the media. However, I've seen a link today I'm really intrigued about. Eddie Howe said that a striker wasn't something he was looking at, but again, what can Eddie Howe say? He can't possibly come out and say, I'm desperate for a striker, because what does that do to our current strikers? So he has to say that he's not interested. However, I mentioned a name, I think, when I first kind of joined the kind of channel and came on. I said, I'd love to see Vlahovic at Newcastle. And rightly so, I think it was Borky or somebody said, 400 grand a week, never going to happen. However, we've actually been linked with Vlahovic on a free, paying that extra ridiculous wage. Could this be a sign alongside other things, such as investing in the stadium, new training ground? Are we going to break kind of that wage, that wage kind of cap? Are we going to break that finally? Are we going to start playing players 300, 350 grand a week? Or do you think this is just typical paper talk and there's no chance? Because personally, I would be so excited if we made a signing like that. I think that would bring so much positivity to the fan base. But I'm intrigued to get your thoughts. So I guess what I'm asking is it just a whole load of bull and there's no chance of it happening because of the wages? But if there is a chance, how excited would you be to see Vlahovic? Bogey?
I think we do have to use the free market. I think we do have to use the release player market. I don't see we're doing that because the first thing that would happen is if you sign a player like that, you have other players banging on the door going, hang on, you're paying him 400 grand a week, I want more.
Yep.
You know, so it just over tips the balance with the other players. There might even be the likes of a Bruno who's got in his contract, he has to be the highest paid player at the club.
Match
Like used to have.
Yeah.
So, as soon as you do that, unless we've got the commercial revenue to pay for these wages, we can't do it. You can't do it until you can do it for the squad of players. So you have to take it. It's not just a case of having one player would be fine. We could afford it and it wouldn't be a particular issue. But as I say, it has a snowball effect on the rest of the squad because after a few months, you're sitting there thinking, well, hang on, is he doing a lot more in the team than I am? And I'm getting paid, I'm getting paid less than I really should be. And he's on an absolute massive wage. So I think I don't think it's a group we can go down at the minute. I don't think you can do that until you can afford to pay the full squad a higher wage.
Another reason why I think I kind of half believed it is because we were linked to Darwin Núñez on a free, who is also on ridiculous wages in Saudi at the minute. So there must be, if these are true, obviously, and people aren't just plucking names out of the air, if these are true, there must be an element of we could be potentially prepared to start doing this and maybe having a word with players like Bruno and say, look, like, we have to pay this for this player, give us a year, we'll try and renew your contract and kind of make it worth your while with a big sign-on bonus. So that's what Núñez has been linked as well with huge wages. Wayne, would you be happy with Vlahovic or even Núñez?
So you've just got the answer there to your question. You give him a big sign-on bonus. You say, right, we're getting you on a free. We'll give you £50 million sign-on bonus, and you're on, whatever the going rate at Newcastle is 150, 160 grand a week. But you're getting 25 million, 50 million, whatever it might be, up front.
Does the sign-on bonus affect squad cost ratio?
Well, yes, in terms of wages it does. So it would go down in the books as a cost.
Yeah.
Because of that way, and it would all come out of that first year. So you wouldn't be able to, but you would still then have them on the wage structure that the club currently operates.
Oh.
Can you work a structure around a sign-on bonus win, or is it just because the only problem with that I can foresee is that he has a really good season the first season. The club come in for him to buy him, and we've paid bloody 50 million quid. We paid him 50 million quid as the sign-on fee. He gets they'd have to offer a hell of a lot of money to.
Well, no, because we're saying him on a 5-year contract, so he's a Newcastle player. If they want to buy him, if he has a brilliant season and they want to buy him, we've got to pay what we ask for him.
But we've all seen the problem with that, haven't we, in the past?
Well, as you say, what they could do is say, we'll give you a £50 million sign-on bonus, but if we do that, you'll have a buyout clause of 100 million, or we'll give you 15 million and your 15 million and your buyout clause of 70 million.
Yeah. Could the owners be learning from the summer gone where we missed out on so many players due to
I hope so.
And that's why we're now linked with Núñez from Saudi and Vlahovic, obviously on a free and big wage. There could be something in this, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because hopefully we've learned from the lesson last season of missing out on Ekatike and Buemo, Sesko.
We need to be creative.
Tina, how are you feeling about Vlahovic or maybe Núñez?
Everybody said when we signed Lloyd Kelly and paid him 150 grand a week, it was mad. But we got him on a free,
and we sold him,
and we made bloody good money on that.
We did actually. Yeah, that was to Juventus as well.
What was I saying? Signing on fees are spread over the contract. Not so sure that's true, was it? If you give him a signing on bonus, it comes out of that year. Pretty sure.
I don't know. That's a good point, actually. Could you offer him like 10 million a year for 5 years? as a sign-on on top of his wages? So could you like, look, we're going to give you 50 million, but we'll give you 10 million a year for 5 years. That's how long your contract is on top of what your wages are. So you get a 10 million bonus every year, so to speak. That could be, that could spread the cost, I guess. I'm sure we could get a little bit creative in terms of what Borky was saying with contracts as well. It's really interesting. Tina, how are you feeling about potentially Newcastle? It could be, I mean, this could all be paper talk, of course it could, but are we actually starting to learn from our lessons last season where nobody would join us because we couldn't compete wages-wise, do you think?
I would love to think we've learned from our past mistakes. Absolutely, I would be very happy if we have. I'm not quite... You know me, usually I'm the absolute most optimistic person in any room ever, but I couldn't see us breaking the wage structure just yet. I would love it. If we start next season with Darwin Núñez and Dusan Vlahovic, I'd be delighted. I have also been calling for Vlahovic since I first joined the channel.
Yeah.
Like, he's just one of them players. He's got he's a striker who's like, he's got a bit of athleticism to him. He scores a lot of goals. I mean, not this season, to be fair. He's kind of dropped off a bit this season, but he
I'd
scores
like
a lot of goals.
Núñez.
He's got a free kick. Darwin Núñez and Vlahovic up front, well, in the forward line. That's a Champions League qualifying team. And if Bruno's like, oh, well, why am I not getting paid that much? Okay, do you want to be in the Champions League next season? Because if I sign Vlahovic and pay him 350 grand a week, he's probably going to score us 35 goals. And as for the other players who are like, Jacob Murphy piping up and being like, well, hang on, if he's getting paid 400 grand now, if you just wanted to be paid 400 grand a week, you probably shouldn't have had us in 11th place of the season with one game to go. Like... You just want to make the big wages, put in the big performances.
Tina's brutal today, like.
I went savage, haven't I? This is what I'm normally like.
Savage.
I'm usually much nicer than this, Kev, I promise.
Oh, it's all right, I don't mind. I get hammered all the time, it's fine. I've seen comments saying, Eddie Howe said we're not in for a striker, but I addressed that at the start of this conversation. Eddie Howe cannot say we are desperate for a striker, even if he really wants one, because what does that do if you are left with the current strikers at the squad? You've got to give them confidence. So Núñez looks like he's causing in the comments a little bit of debate as well. So I didn't ask you about Núñez, Borky Orwin, actually. So very quickly before we move on, Núñez, would you be happy with him?
On a free, certainly, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be offering him the kind of deal that I would offer Vlahovic.
Oh, okay.
I would say
Not for me.
maybe it's a 20 million
not for
signing on
Borky.
for him.
Nah, not for me.
Misses too many chances. Do you not think that can be coached out of him and turned into an absolute lethal goal scorer like he was at Benfica?
Well,
As I keep saying,
he hasn't done it with the other strikers, has he? So
he did it with Isak.
Isak.
Isak and Asula.
Do you know what the one good thing I would say about these type of rumours is where we're on about getting free players in or getting, younger players are going to different markets. It shows that the club are developing. It shows that we're not just going for, the tried and tested. And it kind of shows that the people who were in charge of the transfer window last year aren't this year, because there seems to be a completely different focus on what type of players we're going for. Yeah. So hopefully the coaches coach, and the recruitment team recruit, and it all works together rather than one person trying to do it all.
I remember saying again previously that I'd love to see a summer where it's just like a bit of stability. I think the last one we had where there was stability above the manager was when Staveley was there, and we made some unbelievable signings back then. And since then, it's been up and down and stuff. But it looks like we could have stability finally going into a transfer window. In the rumours I'm hearing in terms of income is a positive, but again, it's the outgoings, which I've been burned too many times from the Isak situation, if I'm honest. And I think that's why I might be a little bit scared. Speaking of development roads, a club, Borky, you're leading me perfectly into my next topic here. Loads of
just out of interest, Isak had 99 last season for us. Isak had 99 shots, and so this business about strikers missing, I don't care. As long as they've got to be in the. Andy Cole probably had 3 or 4 chances for every goal he scored, but that's because he was getting into the position to get those chances. Similar to Wissa this season, even, he's been missing chances, but that means he's been in the right place to get those chances in the first place. So straight, Malcolm McDonald never afraid to miss. one of the greatest. And that's why, to me, if you've got a striker who's getting into those positions and fluffing chances, that's okay, as long as he's putting away his fair share.
What's the argument against there? Sorry, I've missed the argument. What's that argument against?
Because Kev was saying, do you not think Nunes misses too many chances?
Right.
And I'm saying,
Well,
no, it doesn't bother me that he's missing chances as long as he starts converting a few more of them.
To be fair, I didn't mean to put words in Boaty's mouth, but when Boaty said he wouldn't take him, I just assumed it might have been because he missed too many chances.
No, it's just I didn't like him as a player.
Fair.
He's a very good footballer.
Fair. To be fair,
he does miss chances as well. I mean that is part of the issue. But I just when you watch him, when you watch him, I just don't think he's a great footballer. The likes of Altamora, yes, he misses misses chances, but you can see there's a good footballer there. Nunes, I just don't see that. And that it's personal opinion as it is with everything, but he's just not a great player to me.
Lee Tuft is saying, I think this talk is a waste of Eddie. It's a waste. Eddie Howe said last week we don't need a striker. Let's move along to the next subject.
I spoke about that twice.
He can't direct that really.
He can't possibly say, but he needs a striker, can he? Very quickly, you mentioned Wissa there. I want to get your thoughts very quickly before we move on because we have longer than 2 minutes, but I've got a couple of things I want to get through. Johan Wissa, would you openly look to sell him? Just yes or no? Tina?
No.
No? Keep him? Win?
No, definitely not.
Keep him? Bogey?
Yeah. If you could get the money back for him, definitely, but there's absolutely no chance. So
what about for 25 million? Cut your losses?
Nah, you can't do that. But
no?
He's been absolutely shite, hasn't he? For he's been a rubbish player. And
I know
one word answer would be for me. Sorry, I can't swear too many times, so it would be the word I've just used.
Right. Okay. Yep.
As I said, I've said 1,000 times: top keeper, top defender, top striker. The spine is.
I agree, that's for big money players. Normally, the midfielders, strikers, wingers, and then obviously defenders can be quite a bit as well. But I agree.
We're going to put a big transfer fee in to get Wazza onto the panel one night.
Yes, get him on. Actually, no, we'll miss out on too many super chats. He's not allowed. Business-wise, as much as we love Wazza, he's got to stay in the comments. He's got to keep super chatting, and everybody else join in with him. Right, St James's Park's announced some upgrades, hasn't it? New screens, new lighting, 5G upgrades. It's going to be modernised. Obviously, there's talk. We've bought Leesa's kind of. Is it Leesa's Road? Leesa's Park? It's not Leesa's Park.
Leesa's Terrace.
Leesa's Terrace. Thank you, God. My brain's not working.
Got there eventually.
Thank you. I've had a horrendous day at work, so my brain is just like not working. But yeah, lots and lots of developments on this. Now, what I'm really intrigued about, right, is new screens. Very quickly before we go on to this, do you know there's only 2 Premier League clubs in England, obviously, because Premier League's in England, I'm having a nightmare, who don't have any screens? Do you know who they are?
Don't have any screens.
Don't have any screens in the stadium. Do you know who they are? 2 teams.
Fulham?
Fulham have a screen.
Sunderland and West Ham.
West Ham. Well, I read, and again, could be completely wrong, Man United don't have a screen, and Anfield don't have a screen. I heard everybody else does. Does Sunderland not have a screen?
I don't know. I was just guessing. You gave us a guessing game to play, so I joined in.
To be fair, Sunderland did have a screen, but some bugger pinched it.
I think the answer which I heard was Liverpool and Man United, which I was shocked at because the 2 biggest clubs in England, let's be honest. Anyway, Wynn's showing us here where the screens are potentially going to be placed. So
on the outside of the stadium?
No, it's just to show you kind of what it looks like. So Valise's east corner is already there.
That's the same, except it's going to be much bigger, apparently.
Bigger, yeah, we're going to make it bigger. So the one in Valise's east corner is going to be bigger.
There's a new one going on the wall, the glass wall.
Yep, the glass wall, Gallagher West corner.
The Gallagher end of the Milburn stand. And then the third one is going in the singing corner.
Strawberry corner. How will that one work? The one I'm wondering about is that one in the strawberry corner. I don't understand how that could possibly work because You'd have to get rid of
Everybody's
seats,
going to
wouldn't
have to
you?
be looking backwards at it, aren't they? Except for the people in the in there where they'll have 3 screens to choose from.
That's where I sit. Yeah.
Well,
Get
there
in.
you go. You'll have 3.
I'll have 3.
3 to choose from. Whereas where I sit, which is there.
Yeah. You're gonna have to turn backwards to look
I
at.
can't see.
You're gonna have to get your phone out.
Well, no, I just do what I normally do: run down onto the concourse and have a look at the ones on the.
It doesn't really help that this stadium's the wrong way around from what you normally see it, does it?
Yeah. Good point.
That's exactly the way I normally see it.
Yeah, from your seat. But I'm saying when you see it on pictures and stuff, the stadium's normally the other way around, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah. But that strawberry corner screen, will we have to give up seats for that? Because there's no ways for enough space unless we put it on top of the stand. There's no ways for enough space to get one on there. So when this was kind of brought out and announced that we were going to introduce 2 new screens, I'll be amazed if that actually happens. I mean, again, obviously, there's the 2 obvious locations, which Wins just went to there. One which is already there, which will become bigger.
That one's already there.
That one isn't there yet, but it makes a lot of sense to put one there. But the strawberry corner one, can you actually see that happening? Or am I just being silly here? Can somebody help me on? Is that going to just sit on top of the east stand?
There's going to be a couple of guys in the crowd who's going to hold it like war flags. They're just going to stand there and occasionally, when there's a goal, they'll be like, look at the screen, it's mint.
I mean, let me see if I can find it.
What do you think about that, Boaty? Are you on board with this? Is this going too far? Are we modernising St James's too much? Should we just wait to get a new stadium? What's happening here?
I'm old-fashioned again, but I think if you actually go to the game, you shouldn't have any screens. You go to watch the match with your eyes. You go to watch it live. And what's the first thing that you do? As soon as something happens on the pitch, you turn your head towards the screen.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, stay at home and watch it on the telly.
Oh,
you wait for the decision on the pitch. It's all the fans discussing it with each other.
Yeah.
And, if you want to know that scores, I know they don't put the scores up particularly, but if you want to know that scores, you have your little transistor radio still next year.
Oh, look at this!
Sort of thing. I just think it's. I mean, I understand it's all new technology, and to be honest, I think maybe part of this is nothing really to do with football. It's to do with, again, when they're going to be putting concerts and things on at St James's Park.
Yeah,
I'm going to a screen up. It's to put the singers on that as well as part of that. So
yeah,
I think you've got to think it as part of that.
Looking into the strawberry corner there. Now, unless they're going to put the screen kind of...
It has to go on the roof.
It's got to go on the roof, hasn't it?
Like hanging from...
I could hang from the roof, I suppose, down.
That still then wouldn't allow the people in that end to see it.
Put the away supporters there.
But they would be able to see them.
Just cover the view and just put a massive screen.
This is a good shot because you can see that's where the new one's going on the Milburn stand.
Yeah.
And this was obviously taken before they had the screen on the...
It's actually not far away from where I sit at. I'm just further right from where that picture was taken.
Did you take this picture, Kev?
No, I didn't. I'm not the 92.co.uk.
You must sit right next to my brother, Kev.
I sit right in front of the boxes. So normally, like Emil Kraft was in the box behind me. I'm like 2 rows away from the box behind.
So over here somewhere.
Yeah, literally where you are, but further back. So yeah, that's why I sit.
Answer Wazza there, who you've actually upset in chat there.
I don't want to upset Wazza.
You are loved for so many reasons. The amount of times you have made me feel better about myself after a rough day because of your compliments and your interactions in chat.
Only love for my donations.
You're not only love for your donations, Wazza.
Let's get Wazza on the show.
Yeah, let's get him on the show. That's not what I meant at all. Wazza stuck up for me last time when I was getting slaughtered, so absolutely.
Chat, can we all call out Kevin for upsetting Wazza, please?
Yeah, I deserve that. If I've upset Wazza, I deserve that. I should be in jail if I've upset Wazza, to be fair.
When have we still got the jail? Bust it out and put him in jail.
Put me in jail. Tina's brutal today. She can't wait to get me in jail.
I am. Do you remember when I was nice?
Right, yeah, it used to be nice. A question kind of for all of you very quickly before, again, we move on. How modern is too modern, men? I mean, we're going to have 3 screens. We're going to have 5G. People are going to be able to watch replays on the phone now, which I hate phones at football games. Cannot stand it. We're going to have new lighting, and we're potentially going to have light shows. We've seen this with Wolves and Chelsea, and now we're going to have these brand brand new lights, which can give us some weird light show on a night game. Personally, before I pass over to you guys, is football completely gone? The only thing we can never do as a football club, and this could potentially make me just absolutely lose my head, it would roll down the Gallagher, right? We cannot play music when we score.
Oh, really?
No. Chelsea do it, and it does matter. Any team which plays music after a goal in England is not a big club. I haven't been put in jail for that comment. I've been put in jail for upsetting Wazza, rightly so. But anyway, how modern's too modern? Are you for these light shows, these 5G things? I'm going to come to Borky first. I think you might be along a similar line, and we'll go to the more sensible fans.
For me, go back to having 4 floodlights around the stadium.
Oh, look at that.
You know, go back to,
peeing in each other's pockets.
Peeing in each other's pockets in the stands. You all stand there. You've got flat caps. You've got your scarf. If you score a goal, you stand and shake the guys next to your hand. You don't go on like nutters.
Not if it's just peed in someone's pocket.
And let's go
And
further
you can
afield with
smoke.
this. And you can smoke. Let's go further. Let's go further afield with this in football.
Yeah.
Let's stop having so many European competitions, places for European competitions. It's getting ridiculous. Top of the league should be Champions League, Europa League second place, and the Conference League should be third place. And I'll go even further, get the FA Cup back to the end of the season. FA Cup should be the
100%.
final game of the season. Let's get back to the traditions of football. Get rid of this bloody VAR as well, which is an absolute joke.
Oh, get rid of VAR, I agree.
Let the referees on the pitch make
we'll
the decisions.
Get VAR gone.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's funny, right? Because when I host, I always get comments like Gary's put in there, King Kev got out wrong. I'm always positive when I'm a panelist, but when I'm a host, I tend to be like, I don't know, I'm a bit like Tina today as well. I don't know if something in the water.
You've brought the meanness out of me.
Maybe that's what, and that's unlike me.
My behaviour is your fault.
I'm normally classed as a happy clapper. You know, I'm normally classed as positive in that, but when I host, there's something different, I think. I
feel you guys are just too negative.
No. If that's coming from Borky, I need to
I
quit.
love that Borky said that.
But I agree with the VAR stuff. Are we modernising St James's too much? I mean, there's still talk of a new ground coming, and we're spending a lot of money on modernising St James's, which, I mean, do we really need an extra screen? Do we really need a light show? I mean, 5G, I quite like not having signal at the game. It means I'm not on my phone for at least 90 minutes, so I don't mind that.
Do you not have a pocket? Just put your phone away.
Was I saying, pointy sticks for sale? Come and get your pointy sticks.
Yeah. Do you know what they should ban? If anybody pulls a mobile phone out to video the match, that should be a point as well where you get banned from the stadium.
Goodness,
Borky. You're there to watch the football with your own eyes, not to have your mobile phone out. But these YouTubers,
I'm not on about video
record the match and all that, and you just think to yourself, you've got a season ticket to go there and watch it live, yet you're actually watching it through a screen any bloody way because you've got your mobile phone out watching it that way.
Is there an age limit on that?
No, definitely not. No.
Even if you're a kid.
If your mobile phone comes out your pocket, you're banned from the stadium.
Well, when trying to order his taxi in the last 10 minutes of the game and gets dragged out by security. No, come on, Borky says you've got to be banned. Come on. Let's get you out of here.
Minutes. Win hasn't been there in the last 10 minutes since 1986.
One of the last 10 minutes in the first half.
The only time I ever missed the last 10 minutes was when I started this malarkey 2 years ago.
You can't call this malarkey. We've got loyal fans who tune into us.
Yeah, I leave earlier now so that I can get back for the reaction.
That's a fair point.
I feel terrible about upsetting was it? Anyway,
you've upset Win now as well. Who else are you going to upset?
I haven't upset anybody. Stop it. Are we modernising St James's too much? Are we spending money in the wrong place, Tina? I mean, if we're going to get a new stadium, do we really need a light show? Do we really need a couple extra screens for 5 or 6 years? Or actually, is it really needed to modernise the ground? What do you think?
I mean, I think we might as well. So imagine if first of all, it's going to take a good 5 years before we get this new stadium. or at least 3 years. So you've got to look at things for the time being. So the new pitch with the new heating underneath, leveling off a little bit, that's definitely needed. The screens, maybe we're going a little bit overkill on the screens, considering there's literally one corner of the ground that's going to be able to watch those screens, and everybody else is just going to be able to watch it. They're literally just you sat there complaining about Win on his phone, ordering a taxi,
I'm not
but sitting there
complaining
looking
about
at
Will on
3
his phone. That was
screens.
bogey.
Like you're some sort of king of Newcastle or something.
Well, I am called King Kev, Tina. Come on.
That's
I've
why
got to
I
live up
said
to the name. Come on.
thing. Sometimes what I say is relevant. Not very often. But yeah, so in regards to the light shows, okay, so imagine this. We've got a new stadium. If we had all this time for the new stadium, we start having pyrotechnics, cheerleaders, light shows, and everybody absolutely hates it.
Cheerleaders wouldn't be
Right?
bad.
I mean, I've got nothing against Charlie, but I only said that because somebody commented in the chat. But imagine we get all of these bells and whistles, the light show, the pyro in the new stadium, and everybody dislikes it. You know, like when you're playing Fallout, everyone dislikes that. So we can look at this and say, first of all, it's going to, give us a chance to put on something a bit more intimidating even than what we've already got. And we've got a good start with the whole war flags thing. It might give us a chance to, build the intensity a little bit more. You could also potentially sell a little bit of sponsor space, like on the, for the first couple of hours before the game on a light show. I quite like the idea of a light show. Plus, if everyone hates it, get it out the way, and it can be a bad memory from the old stadium.
A good point.
Move to the new one.
Could almost be like feeling out what fans think of it. Yeah, could. I
Well,
didn't
you took us
know
an hour,
that.
Just
10
a
minutes,
comment
but I
on
made a good
what
point.
Tina was saying, that the only people who are going to get a good view are the people in your area there. That's not strictly true. With that new screen, the whole of the Milburn stand are going to be able to see that screen virtually. And the people who are sitting almost underneath that screen there, they are going to be able to see the new screen in the Gallagher corner. So really the only people who aren't going to have a screen to look at is people like me and kind of that bottom corner there.
Can I just make a quick point on this? There's actually two. The first one is this work isn't all for football in my view. So we're looking at it from a football point of view. If you can't see this, you can't see that. Why we're having light. It's for to get other events on in the ground.
Yeah, good point.
It's to open up the ground to being a super stadium and being able to do other events. And the other thing me and Win were discussing in the green room before the show was, how's all this costing £30 million? It seems a hell of a lot of money for what they're doing.
I think a lot of
it's
it's
going to cost some money.
Is it a pitch for raising one end and lowering another end to kind of?
Are they doing that?
Was it air systems going into
new
the pitch? I don't know
drainage
what that
system.
does. And obviously new underground heating. I think the lights will cost a bomb, to be fair. If you go from kind of old typical floodlights into these lights, which kind of react.
£30 million. That seems a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, we don't know what they're going to do with the concourses, because that's all planned for they are all planned for major upgrades, which they need desperately.
Cheerleaders are popular since Tina mentioned it. I said straight away, I'm not against cheerleaders, and now everyone's
going to do
was
a super chat there and Win.
Haven't seen
Get the super chat in.
Look, we got it after Kev's comment.
Sorry, Wogger. I'm only allowed to host at 9:30. I shouldn't be hosting at 8 o'clock.
There's a shout.
So yeah, Machi, let us idea. So Newcastle, if you are listening, PIF, and you do want to use that idea, you can just cash at me the money for the idea that I've given you, and I'll have a chunk of that 30 million. Thank you very much.
Well,
it wasn't our favorite pom-poms if you want us to get them out for you, mate.
Yeah, Borky can be one of the cheerleaders.
The cheerleader, I don't know if anybody can remember, but when the Prem first came in, they were all the rage then. That was part of the razzle-dazzle of the brand new Premier League era.
Razzle-dazzle.
The reason that they don't work in football is because in American football, you do that in like Florida and California, and the cheerleaders can wear these really pretty cheerleader outfits, stereotypical cheerleader outfits. In Newcastle, they'd have to wear duffel coats. It doesn't really have the same
Don't
effect.
have to. We can just let Marine.
Well, unless you want them to turn blue.
They'll be all right.
Not be all right.
Have
you been outside?
I'm sure someone would warm them up after I'd done the show.
I'd happily take that
Let's
job.
keep it classy, guys.
I'd take that job, no problem. Anyway, I'm having a nightmare tonight. I can barely talk, and I'm coming out with all sorts of rubbish. Another thing which is again in the news, Mark Douglas this time saying that Newcastle United have recruited a rising Silicon Valley star as they accelerate plans to build a data department they hope can rival the Premier League's best. There's a 26-year-old AI specialist. I mean, the name, I wouldn't even want to try. I'm just going to call him K. Begins with a K.
No, they call him. He's got a nickname already.
Does he?
Is it Suds?
It looks like Kaustub Depanda. Kaustub Depanda. But yeah, anyway, he's an AI specialist who has joined from a top US tech firm.
Name like that, it sounds like it was AI generated.
It does sound like it's AI generated. And apparently we are looking at using a bit of AI in pretty much signing players based on statistics. Now, some people hate statistics in football. I think you can almost make statistics make anyone look good. For example, Shola Amiobi has more goals at St James's Park than Lionel Messi. So you can almost use stats to almost tell any story you want in a way, even though that one's a really stupid example. But it says here that both new hires about giving Newcastle deeper knowledge of the transfer market and crunching the numbers in a way that makes the almost endless amount of data out there more accessible. So we're going to find data on players, we're going to put it in AI and ask AI. Not necessarily who the best signing is, but in terms of can it predict performance, can it predict injury risk, or can it predict a tactical fit into a team? Now, I'm a bit old school. I think this should be the job of a manager or a coach to say, look, we're a great player, but we don't fit us. But what are your thoughts on potentially using AI and statistics as the way forward to kind of get ahead of the game? I suppose. I mean, Borky was shaking his head when I mentioned stats, so I'm definitely going to Borky first. How are you feeling about AI/statistics just completely determining who we sign?
The problem is I can argue with my own argument here because I would say it's a load of crap and you need to have proper scouts out there. But I think after we're scouting and we're transfer window last season of Stephen writing names down on the back of a fag packet, maybe it goes against us a little bit there. So, but no, it's a load of absolute rubbish. And there's this, you need coaches, you need scouts out there. You need people with eyes looking at players. I mean, bloody hell, if we're starting to do this, then what the heck? Why have a manager? Why not just pick the players that you've got to let the AI watch the training?
Team.
Yep, and then the AI picks the team exactly. It's a load of crap. You know, you need that human touch to watching a player, and you need to understand people's characters as well. You know that's a big
very
thing
important.
as well. The AI will pick up on who's a good, being maybe he's a good player, but they won't pick up on their actual, sort of.
I think the environment,
everything.
The environment they're coming into as well will either fit a personality. However, speaking of a human touch, which you mentioned there, Borky, read that out.
Cheerleaders and cardigans for Borky. Cheerleader warmer for win. And I. Lovely job for win and I. Lovely jubbly.
To be fair, Waz is the only person who can get me out of jail, so we'll wait and see if I'm forgiven in the next 10 minutes. AI win? Have we got much experience on AI? I know it's a relatively new.
Over the moon. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. But, if anybody who's never seen it, watch the film Moneyball.
Yeah.
Where their statistician went completely against all of the really proven baseball scouts and all of the supposed knowledge, and he bought a team of no hope as purely based on their stats. Yeah. And then the O's went on to Oakland A's went on to win a record 24 straight games, and subsequently the coach was offered the job at Boston.
I did not expect Win on the panel to be a fan of getting statistics, putting it into AI and asking it the best thing.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
I've seen throughout. I was one of the very first people in my sort of generation to embrace computers back in the day, which stood me in really good stead. And that was massively based on use of spreadsheets and using the computer to the best of its ability. And I just think it's there, and you've got to use it, and you've got to be the best at it.
Could you imagine AI though trying to pick up on a player like Asula? You know, how the hell do you rate him on an AI system?
Well,
you know,
because
they
they simply look at his minutes per goal, for example.
Actually, a good point.
But then you look at likes of a Baltimore again. How it's a load of absolute shite. You know, you need actual eyes of a proper scout watching players, seeing what they're doing on the pitch, and understanding football, and understanding people. Yeah. AI you could use a little bit if you want to look at stats, but let's face it, when we used to do the shows on here, and we used to have arrows pointing bloody everywhere, we used to have numbers all over the place, and you think, what the hell are we talking about? You know what? Let's just get back to
qualify that, Bookie. You used to
proper...
think, what the hell are we talking about? That doesn't mean everybody.
Yeah, I used to be fair. Yeah, but I think a lot of the chat did as well. But no. But let's get back to proper bloody football where you send a scout out, he watches a player, and he calls them in. You know, he's the one
so
that
he can watch.
The managers. Yeah,
he can then watch. Let's say 90 minutes. Or let's say he goes and watches them half a dozen times. He's watching 540 minutes. But you've got the stats for what player A has done for every single game. You've got all the stats, all the metrics that you can feed in and compute, and I think it's the way forward without a doubt.
Wow, Tina, what are your thoughts on it? Because I don't want to run out of time and not get Tina's thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this?
AI, no.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not. I mean, I look, I get what Wynn's saying. You can look at statistics, but we have a little bit of history, me and Borky, of going along with Wynn's statistics, where we had it proven to us by Mr. Wynn's AI statistics that Tonali is the worst player at Newcastle United this season. So, I mean, you look at the flip side. Also, I can't get AI to correctly track my menstrual cycle. If it can't handle that, how's it going to handle a database of 5 million football players? Like, there's literally, like, AI's, like, have you seen AI generated? Draw me a human.
That's
7
clipped
fingers.
Straight away, Tina. You do realise that.
Immediately.
That
is going to go viral, trust me.
But, to be fair to my point, AI has a lot of ground to catch up on what humans can bring to scouting. Like, realistically, if we're going to be real about it, like, there's a reason that, like, you know, people who, like, play football games and they're like, oh, we should sign this player. I signed him once for Burnley and he won us the Premier League. And you're like, yeah, but that's not real, though, is it? I mean, you know, you can retrain, you know, Nick Waltemada as the world's best goalkeeper on those games, and AI will let you do it because it makes logical sense. But it's not real. I mean, AI's light years off being capable of being something that I would trust for signing players. Yeah, by all means, bring in the statistics, use the statistics alongside what you're seeing of a player, but don't be like, AI, sign, who can I buy? Dash good midfielders. Peter Beardsley was a good midfielder for Newcastle United. He is not playing for any club currently and may be available on a... He's 87? Why are you giving
Peter?
us that?
I'd take Peter back, like.
To be fair, I'd take Peter Beardsley if Tonali leaves.
Yeah, right.
Can I just apologise to chat for that comment before? Sorry.
He's 63 or 64 now. When you think about it, he must be.
No idea. Anyway, very quick. I've almost timed this show to perfection because the late show's coming soon. But I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you. I wanted to do this because we're coming to the end of the season, and when I say a quick fire, I mean I'll allow you maybe a minute because we've only got 5 minutes left before we've got a hand over. The first one, just say all you have to say is keep or sell. All right, that's all you have to say. You don't have to answer anything else.
Keep or sell.
Keep or sell. Can't say them both. Can say one or the other. Right, I'm going to go Tina first for every single one because we're gentlemen. Ladies first.
Okay.
Lewis Hall, £70 million bid. Keep or sell?
Keep.
Keep. Mighty Win, keep or sell? Yeah. Bogey?
Sell.
70 million. Sell. Ooh, you know what? I'll join in. I would sell as well. So 2 for sell, 2 for keep. Next one. Don't think it's going to happen, but very interested to see what you're thinking. Yes or no, this one. Vlahovic. Tina.
Yes.
Ooh. Win.
Yes.
Bogey?
No.
I was going to go 4 yeses in true Simon Cowell form. Also, I like the comments for to join in with this. Look at this. 70 mil sell, 70 mil keep. Vlahovic, yes. Vlahovic, no. Lovely stuff. Right, next. Oh, I don't want any yeses on this one, but I know I'm going to get some. Yes or no again. All right. Tina, new stadium.
Yes.
Ooh, bye St James's. Win, new stadium.
Yes.
Ooh, Bogey.
Yes.
I'm the only no. I didn't want any
Devastating.
yeses, and I got
This is
3.
what you get for picking on. What was it?
That's what I get. Do you know what? You know what? I upset Wazza. I deserve that 100%. Right, this one you can say any player's name, but it has to be a player. Obvious one. Player of the season. Tina.
Asula.
Oh wow!
Straight out of left field.
Wow! Incredible. Oh, hang on. Sell Hall, put Woody in. So Wazza, thank you for the super chat, but I'm so sorry for tonight. Me and Wazza had a good relationship as well up until tonight, I think. Player of the season, we've had Asula from Tina. Win, player of the season. Bruno, there's a couple of comments coming in as well for Bruno. That's good. Bogey.
Wissa.
That's
No, Bruno.
Bruno, yeah, I'm gonna go Bruno as well. This one I don't like doing, but I think it's important to get the just to get the ideas out here because I enjoy how much the chat is. Yes, stadium's coming in as well. I love the chat; it's absolutely blown up. Right, this one is again another player, but Tina, flop of the season. Newcastle linked, obviously.
I'm gonna go with Wissa.
Oh,
Purely because Elanga scored 2 goals against Barcelona.
Fair. Win.
Elanga by a mile.
Ooh, Bogey.
Win.
Why do you put Bogey third in this? This is always going to turn into chaos.
You only said Newcastle linked. You didn't say a Newcastle player.
Yeah, fair play. Newcastle linked. My flop of the season's probably Witter as well. I was really excited when we signed them, but gutted. 2 left, and then we'll hand over to the late show. Summer signing dream. Just name any player. Dream, Tina. Summer signing. Who do you want?
Kamara.
Oh, okay. Win.
Dream. Come back to me.
Okay, Bogey.
I assume it's got to be realistic.
Realistic-ish, yeah. I mean, we can't be going down a ridiculous route. Like Lamine Yamal's not going to come, is he?
I'm going to go left field, Pickford.
Wow. I'm so happy I asked these questions. Maybe I am a good host. Who knows? Win. Dream signing.
Dream signing. Wow.
Raheem a dream?
No. Out of everybody that's been linked now, and on the basis that we're not going to get Bowen, I would probably say Somerville.
Oh,
that's
a good shout. I like that. Mine probably either, I don't know, got a couple.
I mean, Bowen would be my number 1, has been for 2 years now. But
I'd love to see, it's not realistic, but Camavinga, apparently he's up for sale at Real Madrid, but he'll go elsewhere before us. Last one before we hand over to the late show. Yes or no only. Will we qualify for the Champions League next season? Tina.
Yes.
Win. Oh. It's quick fire.
It depends so much. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
If we get a decent window, yes.
Bogey.
We'll keep Howe all season. We'll probably qualify for the championship.
Oh, come on, what an awful. I think no, but I do think Europa League. So, thank you very much. What a lovely way to end it. The late show is coming straight up. Bogey, Wayne, Tina, it's been a pleasure. However, Mr. Jack Cunningham is here right now to take you into the late show. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Jack, over to you.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
later, guys.
See you later. Let's go with this.
NUFC Early Night News with Gary DeJordy Yum Yum, Andrew Boki, Christina Cage, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 8 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Well, that was the wrong one. Anyway.
It was the only one available, I think.
Yeah, it was. Good. I'll blame it on that. Good professional start. Right. Yep. Thank you very much for everyone who was on the early show. Brilliant as always. But we're here for the late show. It's me, Jack Cunningham. It's Win, and it's Tim, and it's Peter. And we're going to be going through a lot of things. Going to actually mainly probably have a look through at the Newcastle Confidential, the latest one from Craig Hope. So there's a new name being linked, Matthias Fernandez Pardo from Lille, a winger. I'll have a little look at him. Sandro Tonali, Craig Hope saying, is looking like it's potentially going to stay rather than leave. There's also the idea of PIF selling off 25% of the club, which, let's be honest, sounds worse than it actually is. Don't worry about that. We'll get into that as well. So, and then also, to be honest, we'll probably have a little bit of England chat because Newcastle have had some England call-ups. Some make no sense. Some are absolutely fine. So, first of all, how are we all doing, lads? How are you doing, Peter?
All good, Jack. Cheers. It's the Washy takeover tonight.
It is, isn't it? Hell, it actually is.
Three under one.
Three Washy mags.
Yeah.
See if I get called a Mackham in the comments as usual. But yeah,
probably.
Tim, how are you doing? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, and a tad more optimistic now than what I was a month ago. Let's say.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair. And Win.
Yeah, I'm always good after a win, as you know.
Yeah, no, yeah. We'll definitely talk about West Ham because I thought I saw some encouraging signs, to be fair. So, yeah, but let's crack straight into what Craig. Well, actually, first of all, we've got Ian Fleming celebrates 27 months of membership. Fantastic, Ian, brilliant, and he's going on about Hall. Don't worry about that. We'll absolutely touch on that because that is insane. What is he doing? Is it an inside job? That's what it feels like. Genuinely, it's unbelievable that Hall is not going. But let's start then with the news that Newcastle have been linked. It looks like the transfer window, I've got to be honest, it feels like moves are going to be happening early days. So Craig Hope in his latest Newcastle Confidential says that Newcastle have watched extensively Matthias Fernandez Pardo, 21-year-old, 6'2" winger who can play anywhere across the front three or a number 10, seen as Anthony Gordon's replacement. He's well liked by everyone in Newcastle's recruitment team. They see him as a player who has an extremely high ceiling. He got 8 goals this season. He is going to be at the World Cup for Belgium. He could have represented Spain or Italy, but he has chosen to represent Belgium. So might be a case of getting the deal done within the next 2 weeks, or we could see him have a fantastic World Cup, although he does play in the same position as Doku, so not necessarily going to start. An interesting point within that as well is actually Newcastle's sales pitch to players is changing, and it is kind of moving back to maybe sometimes what we associate with the Ashley days, where it was about selling it as a prospect of getting you into the Premier League, getting you into a European club, and then potentially you move on from there. It was how they were going to try and get Keith Smith. So we will touch on that a little bit. Now, first of all, does anyone know anything about Matthias Fernandez Pardo?
Nope.
Can't say that I do. No.
Fair enough. I did have a little bit of a dig into him because I think that he is a player that we were linked with just a couple of weeks ago as well. But now, obviously, it's come from Craig Hope as well. So I feel as if we're getting to a point where he is probably seriously actually on the radar. And I think the fact he's 6'2" as a winger is interesting, and it's sort of leaning towards that sort of more physical side of the game that we're seeing. But he is rapid. He has got a good technique, and he's got 8 goals and 7 assists this season. So I feel like there's some potential there. Not clear on what the fee would be, and that's kind of what I'm thinking with the World Cup. How many times have we seen players go to the World Cup, have a good World Cup, and then their price just explodes. I mean, I'm trying to think of James Rodriguez. Remember that one?
Just about to say it, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Aye.
Do you remember that? I mean, obviously his
He went to
goal.
Real Madrid, didn't he?
He went to Real Madrid. Yeah, he
And
got moved to
didn't
Real
do too
Madrid.
much.
Not really. No, and then he was there at Everton. Like,
Aye.
so when did he move to Everton?
It was
6
when
years later.
Ancelotti was
6 years later. Yeah, 6 years later he moved to Everton. So from Real Madrid to Everton, it's a bit of a strange one. That one, but that is what the World Cup can do, because ultimately you are on the world stage. There's going to be so many eyes from all over the world watching this, and a good one can totally change your career and get you a big move. So,
Do you remember Robson Carnu, Jack?
yeah, Robson
Wales.
Cardew, I remember that. Yeah, of course.
He had a blinder, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. He scored an
Like-
absolute brilliant goal.
Yeah. Cruyff turn, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at a Cruyff turn. It was unbelievable. That.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're looking from the outside, someone like who's playing like that, someone watching him could have thought, well, yeah, let's get him in. You know, he could have potentially got a big money move based off those performances if
Yeah.
you were kind of looking from the outside. So kind of ties in with what you're saying there. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that obviously, look, I think at one point, look, we're going to be linked with names over and over again, aren't we? So until we probably see some concrete links, probably best not to spend too much time on this player. But I was interested in the detail that Newcastle's plan this summer is to sell the club. I don't know, kind of as a stepping stone, actually, which I think is very different to what the whole idea was, but has been even since Rafa was in charge. Rafa made it very clear that he didn't want players coming here who just were going to stick around for a little bit and move on. Equally, I would say that we haven't been very good at moving players on in the transfer window. We just haven't, and that's why we're in this position where we are this summer. So, I mean, what do you think, Tim, of that? If that's going to be the idea, are you worried about that? Are you more sort of thinking, actually, that's sensible if we're going to switch to what we seem to be switching back to, which is kind of European targets?
I think, to be fair, it is sensible, really. I think if we go around to players saying, you know, the club is going to be doing this and that, and we don't live up to it, then we're going to look like bluffers, aren't we? And then years down the line, the agents will be like, well, Newcastle say these things, but don't believe the hype. Whereas if we're a bit more sensible, a bit more grounded, it doesn't mean that you have to take away the ambition. It's just a case of saying to players, look, we as a club want to be in the Champions League. That is our aim. But if we don't achieve that aim, there is a pathway, providing we get the fee necessary for you to go to a Champions League team. Because it ties in with what you're saying there as well, Jack, about having to trade better. And absolutely, that is something we do need to do. So I think if there's that pathway to trade better and there's less of an Isaac situation as well, you know, where we're trying to be the big boys, try to kind of puff our chest out to say you're not going anywhere. That didn't end well, did it? So I think if we can put a stop to that and, like I say, be sensible about it, I think it's the right way to go, really. It's not to say that you're not ambitious. As long as we don't go down that route, and we won't with these owners, I don't think. But just, like I say, just seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, that you made some really good points, especially the Isak one. Certainly, I'll come to Peter on that. Do you think the club have just become, because of how damaging it turned out to be, do you think they're just scared of anything like that happening again? So they're kind of like trying to change basically everything that we do when it comes to recruitment, just to avoid that sort of situation happening again?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think it's a fine line though, because you don't want to start dishing out promises, I think, to players to say, I think like they've done that with Kabay, didn't they?
Yeah.
Johan Kabay was promised a move to PSG or Arsenal. I think it was initially.
I think it was Arsenal, yeah, initially, yeah. Mhm.
Right. Yeah, and that obviously can cause disharmony in the dressing room, and players can down tools. And so I think you can say to players, look, come to the Premier League, come to Newcastle, we can offer you this stage, which is going to be great for your career, and we are going to go places. We're going to try and get in Europe. We're going to try and do this, do that. But I think if you start saying to players, like, specifically, we will sell you to X, Y, and Z, and you start like even putting it in right. And I mean, I think it's a fine line. You got to kind of just like say, we're not going to obviously be winning the Champions League anytime soon, probably. So you can't be promising that. But I think, like Timmy said, just be sensible about it. And I mean, with Isak, I think that was a. I'd like to think that was a bit of a one-off situation in terms of it was a bit unprecedented how long that went on for. I think usually you don't rarely see that. I know you saw maybe with Harry Kane a little bit a few years ago with Tottenham as well, but I think normally there's like either side will give way a lot sooner than what happened with Isak. Either the club will sell or the player himself will buckle down or whatever. But for me, what's to take away from that is more about how you react as a club if a player does down tools. I think the lesson from that is don't drag it out. You can try and turn it around, give it a week or two, but by that point, if the player's dragging his heels, then the lesson from that for me is then you sell and you get rid quicker than what we did.
But I think one of the easier ways around that is to have a release clause, and maybe we can say to these players that we're trying to sign, there's a release clause we can put in, so it's a happy medium, and we get a lot of money for you, and it's down to the buying club to obviously meet this price, and it takes away some of that wrangle, and the player himself knows that if another club really wants him, then they'll meet that release clause. I think we need to make more use of that. I think.
That's a good idea. Also, you've got to remember with the release clause, let's say we buy this guy for 30 million, you put a release clause in for say 60, 65, 70, whatever it may be. That is then a clear sign for them that they have to, in however long they're at Newcastle, they've got to improve as players and they've got to grow and develop if they're going to get that move that they potentially want in the future. Yeah, Win, what do you where are you sitting on with this potential change in strategy?
I think I'm all for it.
Yeah.
In fact, could this be an opportunity to turn the Isak debacle into a positive by turning round to players who are looking to sign? And let's be fair. It looks as though Tenali, Tino, and Hall could be on their way to bigger and better things potentially. And then we've got a track record of doing it. We can say, look, these great players came here. This is where they got noticed. This is where they made their name. And look what's happened to them. You won't find a better shop window than us for coming. And then hopefully when they do come, they're more like Bruno and they totally take in the place and get it and love it and have no desire to get away, regardless of who's coming offering the big bucks. And we'll hang on to them.
Yeah,
and I think it's also a question of realization of where we are currently in the food chain, and sadly, a lot of fans don't accept where we are in the food chain, which is below the current elite.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just it's a reality check, and I think I'd be all for it.
It's boxing clever.
It is. Tell them out. Just get them in, man. Even Fanny Boots says what.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, get Wazza in on the negotiations.
Well, we're talking about
unbelievable
subject. Well, we're talking about becoming more creative.
Yeah.
And I'd be saying to somebody, who wants it, come to us. You name what your release clause is going to be, and we'll base your salary on what you think you're worth.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then, so if they want a low release clause and they say, well, 70 million, say, well, currently we can buy a 70 million pound player and we'll pay them 100 grand a week, and they're happy. Are you happy with 100 grand a week? And if they say they're worth, they're worth 120 grand a week, they say, well, you must be worth more than 70 grand, and you must be worth 80 grand. So we'll have an 80 million pound release clause. and just be creative in that respect. You know, different for different players, depending on where we're getting them from, what the realistic expectations, who else is in for them at the time, and we can see, out of all the clubs that are interested in you, Bonnie lad, there's none of them got our pedigree. Or alternatively, if one of the big boys is in, well, that's what we can offer. But here's what we can offer on top of that. We can offer you the opportunity to be in the shop window at a top club, showing everybody in the world what your skills are. Hopefully, if that's the way you feel about it, for a move later on, you give it your everything for us, and everybody will see what you've got to offer.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And obviously, I think already I can see with the links this summer, it seems to be moving away from that sort of Premier League tried and tested, established route, and it does seem to be a lot of European players. Obviously, there's been heavy links to Lamine Camara, not necessarily from too many reputable sources as of yet, but there is noise around him. Clearly, a player that they have watched. It'd be great if we could make a move for him. He looks like a brilliant footballer. And then there's this lad now as well. I think Trafford's looking like he's probably going to stay at Man City, with Maresca coming in to replace Pep Guardiola. If Guardiola had stayed, I think it would have been Donnarumma, would have been the goalkeeper, and Trafford would have been leaving. But now I'm thinking that Aston Villa, Spurs, and Newcastle are all going to be in the market for a new number one, and they would have all probably been in for Trafford, so that's going to change the goalkeeping situation again. But even that French goalkeeper we were linked with, who I can't pronounce his name at all, he's another sign of a player who is one of these ones clearly with the potential to become something special. And I think that you all make some really good points on the transfer window. And obviously, look, it's early days, but I think Newcastle do need to get some business done before the World Cup, because the World Cup's on for so long and takes up such a large part of the summer, and you are going to get inflated prices after it. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, the Gordon deal will probably be done beforehand anyway. And then, I guess we'll see what we can do. Incomings wise, I would like to see us be active early on. And I suppose
in terms of one of the names you've mentioned there, Kamara.
Yeah,
we were having a discussion earlier on about the new appointee at Newcastle in the back scene, the AI Supremo, the AI scouting.
Yeah.
And so what I did then was, that we didn't get a chance to discuss, was I just went into AI and I put in, the question was, quality signings this summer for Newcastle United, realistically. And the shortlist that it's come up with is Diamande from Sporting Lisbon, 45 million. Elite athlete, da-di-da-di-da. Scalvini from Atlanta.
Yeah, I've been linked with him a few times. Yeah.
Centre back, 30 million. Ugarte from Man United, 30 million allegedly.
Ugarte, oh my God, he is.
Lamine Camara from Mets, 35 million. A name I haven't come across before, Abdi Ezalzouli.
Oh, yeah, from Real Betis. Yeah.
30 million. Nicholas Jackson, Chelsea, 40 million. And talking about goalkeepers, Gregor Kobel from Dortmund. 40 million euros. One of Europe's best shot stoppers. Newcastle are prioritising a goalkeeper this summer, according to Sky Sports. So that's what good old AI came up with.
Thing is, though, Wayne, right? That's just, I mean, yes, is probably some valid points, to what it is saying, but isn't it just pulling from websites? Ultimately, it's pulling information from probably players we've been linked with, comments that pundits have said, all this stuff that's out there. And I'm sure we're using more sophisticated tools, so I'm not downplaying that necessarily, but I just think sometimes with this AI stuff like that there, Win, I just think sometimes we get kind of wooed by it when ultimately it's pulling from stuff that we ourselves would probably, said ourselves.
Yeah, it just sweeps the internet a lot of the time. But yeah, because El Azawi, we were linked with quite recently. Another winger. I've seen him a few times for Betis. He is quite good. So it'd be interesting. But then in terms of another player who it seems to be swinging all the time, but Craig Hope's basically reporting that now he's not too sure that Tonali is going to leave in the end. And it's because of his price tag for one. Elliot Anderson has been prioritised by Manchester City and Manchester United. It looks like he's going to go to Manchester City. Manchester United then have numerous other midfield targets. Arsenal have been linked before, but it's not clear if they're going to come into the market for another central midfielder. Apparently, Tonali does want to move, but he's not going to kick up a fuss if he doesn't get his move, which, as I've said over and over again, if he ever did that, he thought the ESAT reaction was bad. You got another thing coming, son. I mean, honestly, that would be another level, given what the club have done for him. So, and I'm also kind of leaning towards it as well, because as much as I think Tonali's been a brilliant signing for us, I do think there are elements of his game that prevent him probably being one of the best all-round midfielders. He's very good at certain things, and he's not so good at other things. So, where we kind of standing on him as we sort of get towards the transfer window and with the more news coming out, are we starting to think that he will stay, or are you still sort of thinking he will go? And almost as a case of like Newcastle might need to sell him because they're going to have to generate some funds, and he might have to be on the sacrifice. I'll start with Peter.
A few weeks ago, Jack, I was saying about Tonali that if you were able to get really big bucks for Tonali, then it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing to sell him. Now, one of the reasons I said that is because for me, you've got Jacob Ramsey in there who plays in a similar position. And for me, Jacob Ramsey has impressed more than Tonali. In my opinion, he's looked better. I think, Tonali, obviously, quality player. No one can deny that. He has dropped off overall, I think. His form has dropped off, I think, over the last couple of years. And my kind of thinking was with that position in midfield is that I would prefer Bruno, I would prefer Ramsey, and therefore Tonali's not going to be happy not playing. Ramsey's going to want to play as well. Both of them are going to want to start, basically, I think, next season. So if you have to choose, I would choose Ramsey. I guess the one thing that's thrown a spanner in the works a little bit is that now Eddie has gone 4-4-2, basically. He's playing Ramsey on the left, kind of coming inside, which actually has worked pretty well. Maybe does that now free up that space for Tonali in the middle, where actually Tonali can be a starter, kind of not ahead of Ramsey, but in that middle position next to Bruno. Maybe that does make it a bit harder to sell if you're going to start Ramsey left. Kind of like Kieran Dyer played that left hand side a little bit under Bobby's first season. I remember when he was playing like 4-4-2 with Duncan Ferguson and Shearer up front. But but you know what? Out of the midfield players, I think I would rather keep Ramsey if push comes to shove, and kind of get more out of him next season, because for me, I think he's shown a lot of quality in glimpses, albeit, but he just seems to be more effective than Tonali for me.
Yeah, I love Ramsey. I think he's brilliant. It's kind of a litmus test. He's a litmus test footballer for me. If you don't rate him, I kind of think you don't really know anything about football. If you do rate him, I think you know a lot about football, because it's those like he's got those. It's those neat turns. The way he just keeps the ball. He doesn't lose possession at all. That's the sign of a good footballer. So Tonali loses it a lot. Let's be fair. Even on Sunday, Tonali lost it a lot. There was like 10-yard passes just putting it straight out of play. So
cheap giveaways, isn't it? It's strange because he's better than that, but at the end of the day, he is giving it away a fair bit, I would say, for his standards. So yeah,
that's his weakest part of his game, really. To be honest, actually, is sort of short passing. He sometimes just hits the ball too hard at them. I think it's a bit of an odd one. Tim, where are we standing with Tonali? And more of a case of, did you think he was going to leave? Like he was gone. Are you more now sort of thinking he might stay? And again, are you almost like, actually, I wouldn't mind selling him, I suppose?
Well, we've got a super chat. You want to do that first?
Yeah, we'll do the super chat. Yeah, of course.
If you lose Tonali, you lose legs.
Yeah, you do.
Bad move. If I'm Oh, wait a minute, that was the wrong one again. Done that one. Sorry. Oh, I missed that one as well. Tell lies. Have it. See you from Liverpool. And that's the one he's saying. If we lose Tonali, we'll lose the legs in the middle of the park, which is absolutely true.
True.
It is.
But the thing is, you know, I know stats, times, lies, and statistics and all that. But out of the 6 games, Tonali didn't start last season. We won 5 of them. And the only one we lost was the Magpies.
Well, the whole midfield thing for me, it reminds us of the Gerrard Lampard conundrum, where you want to play them because of who they are, but do they complement the team? And with Bruno and Tonali, they are very similar. And to me, they're both best where they're allowed to go forward and go box to box basically, but they have a license to go forward when possible. So I'm thinking we need number 6. I've been crying out for that all season. I now think that Miley could play that role. And like Peter says, we're playing kind of 4-4-2 now, aren't we? 4-2-3-1, whichever way you want to put it. And I think in that system, you know, maybe there's a lack of pace. That's the only problem. But could you play with Miley as more of a holder and Bruno to go forward more license? And then obviously, like you say, Ramsey on the left. And actually, you know, I wouldn't be averse to Ramsey being on the left. And I actually think that the right wing is in need of more surgery in the summer. If we've got Ramsey, Barnes, and even maybe Park coming through on the left, you know, could you be okay with that? I'm saying this if Gordon's gone. Could you be okay with that and then use a lot of the money for a new right winger? I think that's where I'd be looking. And in midfield, you know, if you sell Tonali, obviously you've got more money to reinvest in these other areas. If you use Miley as a 6, and you've got Joe Linton, maybe can be reinvented potentially in that formation. But it's a tricky one.
It is tricky. It is tricky. As you say, you make a point about Tonali and Bruno being quite similar because I think a lot of because don't get me wrong, last season changed when we put Tonali into the 6 role, but he isn't a natural number 6. He is all about the legs and getting up and down the pitch and stuff, and he doesn't have enough. I mean, I rate him so highly. I think he's brilliant. He's like a perfect Premier League midfielder in a lot of ways, but to play as an actual number 6, he hasn't got enough of the control on the ball. He hasn't got that ability of a Declan Rice, essentially, where you don't think he's going to lose possession. You know, Rice will keep possession. If Rice plays in that number 6 role, he won't lose possession. He won't just give it away easily.
You know what it is?
I'll go for it.
Like, yeah, I think I agree. Last season, Tonali was brilliant when he moved a bit further back. He was outstanding. And what I was impressed with was his defensive nous. He was sweeping up. And like you said, Jack, maybe he gave it away still at times, but the defensive side of his game was top notch. And that hasn't been there as much this season. So really, if I was a manager, I'd really want to say to him, how do you feel? Like, do you want to be more defensive minded to complement Bruno? Do you want to do that? Are you capable of that? Like, or is it not really your game? Hence why this season, you know, we have had runners in behind all the time that haven't been tracked. So I'd want to gauge how he feels about it. Maybe he can do the 6, I don't know, but I want to see how he feels about that, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a really good point. I suppose, Win, how are you feeling with Tonali staying? Are you more sort of thinking that he more than likely will actually, or are you still thinking he might be wanting to go? Because I think at the start, because I remember a few weeks ago, I was probably thinking like, yeah, Gordon, Tino, Tonali, probably my top 3 to like, they're gone. Now Tonali's not so much there anymore. Yeah.
I would be very sorry to see Tonali go because I think Tonali is an excellent footballer. But it's very much the Lampard-Gerrard situation that Tim was talking about. And at the time that was going on, you know, the big England debate, can they both play in the same team for England? I blame the managers who were over that whole period, the various managers we had, for not being able to get the both of them on the pitch together. But I can very much see that at Newcastle right now, that when both Bruno and Tonali are playing, I don't think we get we don't get the best out of Tonali, and because they both demand the ball so much, the other players don't get a chance to express themselves really. They automatically just, if there's an easy pass to Tonali or to Bruno, that's the option that they take. Instead of, trying something themselves. Even if passing to either of those means going backwards rather than chance a ball going forward.
Do you think it encourages the pendulum win?
It absolutely encourages the pendulum. That's exactly what I was coming on to. And instead of incisiveness. And when there's only one on the pitch demanding the ball, if you're on the other side, then you tend to go for it, which I think is why Ramsey is coming into his own a little bit now. Because he's saying, right, I'll have a go. And we've seen the results of that. So if Tonali was to go, would I break my heart? No.
Fair. I think this is all fair.
I was getting taken to task in the comments by Ginger Hoskins.
Oh, were you?
Saying, but how many, when I pointed out that we won 5 of the 6 that he lost, well, how many did we win? Well, just to date, Premier League, when Tonali's starting, we've averaged 1.08 points per game. When he hasn't started, we've averaged 2.5 points per game.
Oh, wow.
Massive difference.
Huge.
And I know statistics can prove anything, but that's just an actual fact.
Yeah, I think something like that does show it. But yeah, there was a yes.
Was I saying? So the answer is we need a Scholes then. Well, wouldn't that be nice?
Scholes said not even long ago that he thinks Tonali's the best midfielder in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah, so
yeah.
I don't think we get the best out of Tonali.
Yeah, I agree.
No, and like Ginger Hoskins was saying in the comments about like the 4-2-3-1, and I think he's, appreciate your comment, mate. And I think you're saying that we are missing the point about the 4-2-3-1, and that it's the two that kind of sit in and allows the fullbacks to go forward. And I get that, and yeah, hypothetically, Bruno and Tonali could do that, but again, I think that at least one of those needs to have enough defensive nous to stop runners going in behind. And I don't think that either of those two players, I think it's been shown this season that either of those two players don't have enough defensive nous to stop those runs going in behind us, because we've been caught out time and time again.
Yeah, if I think about a lot of teams that play 4-2-3-1, so Manchester United, Casemiro, the definite holder. Chelsea have Caicedo, who's the definite holder. Aston Villa have Onana, who's the definite holder as well with his octopus legs.
But
a lot of the teams
they also have McGinn who covers that ground.
Yeah, of course. But like there is that one that is a clear defensive midfielder, like a clear defensive midfielder.
I think the one thing that links them,
defensive midfielder.
Yeah, what they all have in common is I think they all relish that side of the game.
Yeah, Rodri.
And they're not doing it kind of begrudgingly, having to track back.
Yeah.
It's something that they relish it, and they love to break up the play. They love to destroy as much as create. So, and it's a bit of a dying breed in one way. I think you used to have more players like that back in the day. The likes of David Batty and, even Czech Tiote. I would throw him in. He was just he absolutely loved it. You could tell he was on cloud 9 when he made a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get as many players loving that side of the game. I don't think as much these days, but yeah, I think the ones you've mentioned there, Jack, I think clearly it's something that they're very comfortable in doing. And as good as Tonali was last season in, like you said to me, doing that, more of that kind of all number 6, and the ground he covers is immense. I still think he probably would prefer to be further up the pitch.
Yep. Yeah. We've got basically Newcastle have, and to be honest, Howe said this before. He has said he didn't want players who were set 6s, set 8s, and set 10s. He wants his midfielders to do everything. So he always saw the Joe Linton, Bruno, and Tonali midfielders like 3 interchangeable midfielders in that way, I guess. So like Yeah, one of them would sit further back for a little bit. The other two would go further forward or whatever. And then it's the same with, I guess Willock can't obviously play as a 6, but Willock can play as an 8 and a 10. Ramsey's had to play in the 6 role this season a few times as well, even though that's obviously not his position. And then Miley's probably the only one who's in the squad who's probably the natural, maybe number 6, to be honest, just because of the way he does sit and the way he can read the game so well, as we've seen by his transition to right back and even centre back. He just reads the game so well, and he's also massively improved on his legs. So if Newcastle don't end up signing, at the moment, look, the only 6 we're linked with is Lamine Kamara. So if we don't end up signing Lamine Kamara, then I guess Miley could be your number 6. And maybe in the end, if you're going to play 4-2-3-1, which I think we definitely should, even if Tonali stays, he probably is the one who comes out the team. You play Bruno and Miley. You need it's more about the balance in the team. Like a lot of you, a 4-2-3-1, basically you've got to have a 6, an 8, and a 10. That's basically how you've got to have it. So Miley might be that man. But, let's see. Obviously, there's a long summer ahead. We'll have to see what happens now.
And Steve Waldo's disagreeing. He's saying we don't function as a team with Bruno and Tonali. Oh, sorry, no. I thought what he was saying is we don't function as a team with Bruno and Tonali. What is it? Which way do you read that?
No, he's saying we don't function as a team.
Bruno and Tonali.
Yeah, like when they're
we
playing.
don't function as a team. Yeah, because I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying without Bruno and Tonali. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Got your point eventually there, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think that's the tricky thing about, if we're going to, as I say, we're going to play that 4-2-3-1. When you play 4-3-3, it's different because you can have a 6 and 2 8s and then they kind of do whatever they want. But if you're going to play 4-2-3-1, it's got to be a bit more structured. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But looking ahead as well, so now PIF are open to selling a stake in Newcastle. Now, I've seen this interpreted in the wrong way. It is not that they are not interested in the tune anymore. It's not that they've lost interest in the project. It is essentially a way to raise capital, raise equity, avoid putting the club into debt for a potential new stadium and training ground. And look, we saw yesterday a big announcement of improvements happening at St James's Park. We saw Lee's Terrace bought as well. I think I was saying Mark Douglas said that finally the new training ground is close to being announced. I know we've heard that a little bit, but it does actually feel like now there's some actual movement on it. So, and also, interestingly, Amanda Stavely has managed to raise money. Again, I think I saw somewhere she's raised a couple of billion with an American consortium. Would we like to see Amanda come back in, buy that minority stake?
Woo!
Yeah. I'll start with you then, Win. So at the moment, so what I saw, she's linked with West Ham, in Newcastle, and Spurs buying stakes in those clubs. And I think that one of the reasons she ended up leaving Newcastle initially was actually because financially PCP Capital Partners were in a bit of trouble. They're not anymore. I think that she did fall in love with Newcastle. If there was a chance to buy, say, 15%, which I think is kind of what it's looking like, could you see it happening?
No, I couldn't.
You don't actually think it happened?
I couldn't see it happening buying 15%. If she's got a £2 million consortium together, they'll want more than 15%.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But would I embrace a Yankee takeover? Absolutely. Because then we would be in with the, there's currently 10 majority-owned US clubs in the Prem, closing in on 11. And if we become that, we're on the out, we're inside the tent instead of outside the tent. You know what people do where they are.
Sell out.
How do you mean sell out?
Like, well, is it not a worry about those owners coming together, and because it's the majority, changing the rules, for example. You got Todd Bowley
Exactly.
saying,
That's the point I'm making. If we are inside the tent with all the other Yanks, then
you think they would change the rules to our benefit?
it would change the rules to our benefit. Exactly. Yeah. Instead of them continually bringing in rules that stop us progressing, they would be the opposite. That would be changing rules. What was I saying with these 5 super chat? By Silva with Chow and Byrne as the 3, Tino and Hall wing backs, Rissa as keeper, Byrne and Shea back up defense. So, well, you've got them back up and you've got them in there as well. You've got Byrne in with Chow and then Byrne and Shaw as backup defense sorted. Anyway, Miley, Kamara, DM, Bruno and Tenali. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah,
Looks
we were
good.
linked with Antonio Silva. I think that's who he's on about, the Benfica.
And Ian Fleming there, thank you, Ian, is saying the club has never been the same since Amanda left, and I completely agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I think lost the front-facing communication, and that was kind of the main issue. But yeah, you made an interesting point there, Win, to be fair, in the sense of the rules, because the way we always kind of say it, to be honest, is it's the big six, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, ganging
Against
up on us.
everyone else. But actually, if you were the Americans to become the Americans v the non-Americans, it is interesting. But I can't see PayF selling yet. And also, sorry, I did get it wrong. It's 25%. They're willing to sell up to 25%.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know if that would change it anyway.
Well,
but
that would be around about, depending on the valuation you choose, about 400 million. And if
Maybe about 400
PIF were to
million,
get
yeah.
that, as Chris said in his thing this morning, that gives them the full investment right in their back pocket, and they've still got a majority shareholding in the club, which makes perfect business sense. But I just suspect that nobody's going to put that sort of money in without some kind of guaranteed input into what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I think that's why you can kind of say maybe being some property developers or something, because I think it would be all about the stadium, all about the training ground. I saw something about Lee's Terrace today that it wouldn't get knocked down, but where the old St James's Park would be, if they do build a new stadium, that would become like a leisure hub, I guess, with bars and.
Well, the point is, we don't own the land that St James's is on.
Yeah,
we only own the stadium.
We only own the stadium.
The city still own the land.
Yeah. So that's
and
why
it can only ever be used. The current covenants on that land are that it can only be used as a stadium.
As a stadium.
Well, as a leisure. I suppose the way I see that happening is that by the national planning rules, any green space that you take up for a development has to be replaced by at least 10% more green space going into the green bank, as it were. And the way I see it is that the current St James's Park footprint would be the majority portion of that 110%, and then they'd have to buy someone else somewhere else, to make up the other 10%.
Yeah,
but as far as buying into the club to get the land that's in James's Park as an investment, you wouldn't get it, because we own the stadium, but we don't own the ground. We've only got a lease on the ground. And there's only about, they're talking about renewing the lease. If they wouldn't, they've already said they wouldn't develop the current St James's Park unless they renewed the 99-year lease, which was renewed under John Hall. So it's down to about 70 years now, 75, between 70 and 75 years now. Which is still a hell of a long time to be.
Quite a long time. That's a long time, yeah. But I know that's just how land leases work and blah blah blah. So fair enough. I suppose, Tim, what do you make of all that in terms of PAF willing to sell a stake, and obviously with the developments now that were announced yesterday as well around the stadium, and feels like the project's starting to re-kick into gear, I think, with off-field stuff.
It does, and just on Amanda Staveley, I do
agree
with
Amanda Staveley as well. Yeah,
I think she was a genuine connection between the club and the fans, And you hear directors say things and you think, oh, they're just playing up to the crowd. And in some cases, that is what's going on. But with her, I do, some might say it's naive, but I do think that she genuinely was kind of swept away with the club and did care, while also being a businesswoman as well. But I think, like you say, she was the front and face, wasn't she? And it was great to have somebody at that club that you knew was really enthusiastic about getting things right. So, like you say, Wayne, would I have her back? Definitely. At the same time, one of the reasons, not she left, but I think one of the kind of problems we had when Dan Ashworth was director of football, apparently, was that because of her enthusiasm, she kind of stepped on people's toes and didn't maybe allow Ashworth to get on with the job and do it himself. So maybe that enthusiasm was misguided at times, and obviously we had the financial situation where we overspent. So there's that as well. So I think would the board have Amanda Staveley back for that reason? Maybe not. I don't know. But, looking in from the outside, I think it would be great to have that connection again, that enthusiasm. I mean, with the club and the stadium, yeah, I think hopefully something is announced soon. I mean, a lot of this is leaks, isn't it? Obviously, the club did announce Lisa's Terrace, but the rest of it is kind of leaks to the press. So maybe they are gauging the reaction of the fans because they leaked about the stadium look, or there was two looks really, I think, and then they've leaked about or confirmed about Lisa's Terrace, which maybe opens up the possibility of an extension, not necessarily, but opens up more of a possibility. So are they trying to gauge how fans react as to what the preference is? I don't know, but I do think there'll be some kind of announcement soon, surely.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of fans are now just a bit fed up, like just kind of like know what's going on, because you've got other clubs all around the country are announcing either they're building new stands or they're building new ground or whatever, and we're sort of not doing anything yet. So yeah, but so Peter, in terms of that, obviously with the stuff that's been announced this week, are you starting to feel like PAF are maybe, because obviously we saw this thing about PAF like backing off from other sports. Do you think they've backed off other sports to then like actually maybe put a little, in terms of sport, to actually put a bit more focus on Newcastle?
It seems that way. I mean, there were question marks coming in, wasn't there? I think just last summer, recently, talking about whether PIF have lost interest, and the fact that you went so long without having a CEO at the football club didn't do anything to kind of dispel those rumours, really, because that didn't look good. I was kind of surprised by that when we didn't replace Eels. It took so long anyway to replace him. I think since Amanda Staveley, definitely there's been a series of appointments where that derailed that connection and didn't help to bring stability. But now I do think there is stability there since they've appointed Hopkinson and also Ross Wilson. I'd like to think now we're going to see the benefits of that, surely, I think this summer, in terms of being proactive. And I think it is really good to see what they're doing with the training ground, because they are trying to, by all accounts, they are trying to like move to a different site. So I think a lot of clubs, if they were trying to do that, a lot of clubs would just kind of they wouldn't bother with the existing training ground. You'd just put all the energy into like focusing on buying a new plot of land. But to be fair, Newcastle, they're being proactive and they're saying, well, while we are here, we're going to make the absolute best of what we've got. And we're going to still in the background, we're going to try and do this and do that and plan for the future somewhere else. But fair play to them, I think, for doing that and being proactive that way. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see them act early in the transfer window as well. And it will be interesting to see what happens with the stadium, because like Timmy said, I think it is getting to that point now where we've said it so many times, but I think an announcement would be nice. I guess, do you know what, Jack? I think it also does they kind of speak to just how much of a convoluted situation I think it is, and a unique situation. Like other clubs, when they build new stadiums and extend and all this, they're not in it. They're not next to a grade listed building right slap bang in the middle of the city, where you've also got these kind of like rules and regulations about the Greenland nearby, and I think they're having to jump through a hell of a lot of hoops, Piff, to try and come up with a solution. So I do think that kind of explains as well partly why it's taken so long.
I think they've certainly encountered a lot more problems than they envisaged when they took over and thought we can just walk in and do what uh, Abramovich did at Chelsea and what
Yeah,
the Emirates had done at Man City. They're just Emirates, man.
I know what you meant.
Well, it is. It's
Yeah.
anyway.
Uh,
But, and they've hit nothing but barricades in every step they've tried to take. Not helped by, of course, the Premier League, who want to protect the big three. But was as in there saying just correctly. He says I meant Silva, Chow, and Botman, and then Burn and Share as the backup.
Yep.
Just to thank
Yeah,
you,
fine.
Wazza, who's also incidentally said apparently. I've heard the Twinnies are taking over Washington FC with a prospect of getting them in the Premier. Is this true?
A few more your super chats, mate. I might be able to. We might be able to. So keep them coming, mate.
We'll get
Cheers.
Pascal Chambonda back. Remember when he played for them?
Oh, God, aye.
Watching.
Did he?
Yeah, Pascal Chambonda
There's
played for
just a
Aye.
couple more to do, a few of
Yeah.
these stars, and then
Yeah,
get
go
them
for it,
out the way. Savio leaving City. Would you take him?
Yeah, Savinho, it's an interesting one. I think we've been linked with him before. He can play on the right, left, right wing, left wing. He's never really blown me away, but what we'll say is maybe it's quite hard to do that in a team like that where you get
In the City
limited
team.
minutes. If you could get him for a decent amount of money, why not?
We did that one.
Yeah.
Chelsea will sell Enzo. Well, I didn't think we could afford him.
I don't want him.
Well, he did brilliantly when he came on against us in the 2-2 draw.
Yeah, but
2-0, and he changed the game single-handedly.
He's quality, but
Bruno's a great player, but dictates the pace of our game, which is sometimes detrimental, thinks Stevie Waldo.
well,
you'd potentially have the same conundrum with Enzo as what you might have with Tonali. Like, very similar
Yeah.
to Bruno, isn't he?
Well, yeah, and also they would hate each other because you can't have an Argentine and Brazilian on the same team.
Exactly.
You
that's
just
true.
can't. That would not be good. That would not be good for the dressing room. I mean, did you see Tati and Bruno just calling each other puta as soon as Tati came on at the weekend?
Yeah, Tati's Argentinian. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Aye.
Right, I think we should look at the England squad then, because Newcastle have got quite a bit of involvement. They also should have had another bit of involvement as well, because although it's not been announced yet, basically for some reason the entire squad's been leaked. So we know that Dan Burn is in it. We know that Anthony Gordon is in it. We know that Tino Livramento is in it. Lewis Hall, and I'm going to say Harvey Barnes because Madueke is in it. So if Barnes has surely had a better season than Madueke, but whatever, have missed out. I mean, for me, Lewis Hall should start for England. Never mind not make it on the plane to Brazil. This is insane to me. I mean, is everyone in agreement with me, or are we thinking actually the right decision not to take it?
Well, the alternative is, one of them is Lewis Skelly, isn't it? So, like,
Yeah.
it's not as if you've got, and correct as if I'm wrong, but it's not like you've got this experienced left back who's at the top of his game to come in instead, to Lewis Hall. So, yeah, I think it's pretty amazing that you wouldn't take Lewis Hall, and even if you wouldn't start him, then at least have him in the squad because he can play wing back as well, or even as part of a three, maybe as an emergency in midfield. But yeah, if you look at the form this season, like, he's clearly earned that call up for this tournament. So I don't really understand it. It's a weird one. Tuchel obviously is a quality manager, and yes, Lewis Hall, he has tailed off, and post the Barcelona game where he was absolutely outstanding. Yeah, he did have some bad games, and I was listening to the early show at times, and Kev was saying about, maybe we overrate our players, and I understand that as well. Obviously, we've got, black and white lens that we look through, but I think the overall picture tells me that he is a special player. You know, and the way he can get out of tight situations, especially now in modern football, where teams press, and you have to, if you can break the opposition's press, that's massive, and you're in behind. He can do that. He can do that so well as obviously being a good defender against the likes of Salah at times this season and last season. So he's got his problems, if you like, not problems, but weaknesses. Obviously, he might not go on to be like, you know, the player that he could be as well, but. This season he's earned that call up, and it's a weird one.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gutted for him. Like, just on a personal level, I think he should definitely have gone. Now, I've seen the suggestion that this I don't agree with this at all, because I know Howe did drop him for 2 games, but there are a few people. Oh, sorry, go for that.
Just I'm just echoing. Oh, excuse me. Echoing Wazza's comment there. Absolutely smash the likes, folks. How it really helps the channel going forward.
It does indeed. Keep doing it. Yeah. So in terms of I can see it in the chat as well. Some people were saying that it's Eddie Howe's fault that Hall's not going. I can't get on board with that just because he dropped him for 2 games. Peter, do you agree, or do you think Howe's got a little bit of blame actually?
Well, that's the thing, right? Yes, like with Eddie, I think we all thought it was harsh when he dropped Lewis Hall, and you know, as fans, we're sitting there watching it, and you know, I think we would all agree that we wouldn't have done that if we were in the dugout as the manager, because it's like, I don't think his performance is warranted suddenly being dropped, but you know, at the same time, you know, if you're saying it's Howe's fault, well, if Tuchel, in the same way that you would criticise Eddie Howe for dropping Lewis Hall because you're saying that's not right, then if Tuchel also can't see past just a few bad games, then it's on Tuchel as much as it is Eddie Howe for not picking him. You know, you can't have one rule for one and one for the other. So yeah. So in that sense, there's no real logic to it, in my opinion. I don't get us wrong. I don't think it was maybe it hasn't helped, and it wasn't really fair. I think you could say that. You could throw that at Eddie, that it was, you know, really harsh decision to drop Lewis Hall. But yeah, I mean, Tuchel, come on, like he's got to see past that and oversee his body of work, what Lewis Hall's done, and it's on Tuchel. If he's not going to see past a couple of bad games, like I say, then I think that's really poor. I agree. He should be on the plane.
Yeah, Hall's being nominated for Young Player of the Season. You don't get nominated for Young Player of the Season if you haven't been consistently good for a long period of the year. It doesn't happen. So I would be interested, because Tuchel will have his press conference tomorrow. I'd be interested to what he says when he's asked about why Lewis Hall isn't in the team, because to me,
ever the skeptic, I will believe Lewis Hall is not in the squad when I see it tomorrow.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. I mean, I can
because it makes no sense at all.
Right, yeah, exactly. But I've got there's numerous sources.
There's umpteen sources, but nobody's saying where they're coming from. You know, Craig Hope, it's alleged that it's because he's heard from, you know, club sources, and that the players would already have been pre-informed. I don't even know that that's necessarily absolutely the case.
As far as I'm aware, the players were all told today, so that's why Maguire tweeted.
Yeah, Maguire's been very vocal.
Yeah, Maguire tweeted out that he hadn't made it.
But I haven't heard anything from Lewis Hall.
No, you've not, because I think Maguire probably made the wrong call doing that, to be fair, but you know, he did do it, so it's as simple as that. But Hall's, what I will say is, as much as I'm gutted for him, from a Newcastle point of view, does it actually stop him maybe shining on the world stage and leading to him potentially leaving in the summer? Because, to be honest, my colleague Talksport Alex Crook's reporting that Hall is potentially open to leaving this summer. Crookie wouldn't report that if he didn't have valid sources on it. He doesn't do that. So I found it interesting. I'm not sure it'll happen, but clearly there could be interest in Hall. But for me, he's one of the untouchable ones. To be brutally honest, I think he's
Yeah.
untouchable.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't work against us whereby Lewis Hall will think that he needs to move in order to get this England
That's a good
call-up.
point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Aye. But I agree. I think he is like the crown jewel, isn't he? So, and also Timmy, you mentioned he marked Salah out the game. Also, Yamal,
Unbelievable.
Barcelona, marked him out the game as well.
How many times has he marked Saka out the game? Do you remember that 1-0 last season when Isak scored at St James's Park? Hall was on Saka. Just
back pocket.
Just locked him up. He couldn't do anything. This guy's brilliant. Like, a lot of people criticize him defensively. I don't agree with that. I think that he is one of the best left backs in the Premier League. Should be starting for England. It is beyond ridiculous that he is going to miss this World Cup. But
do you think Colwell is an option that Tuchel's thinking about for left back?
Colwell's not made it either.
Is he not?
No. I think
who else is there?
I've got the squad. I've got what the leaked squad is. I've got the leaked squad.
Right. So Skelly's there for left back.
He's not necessarily confirmed yet.
Okay.
But basically, as far as I'm aware, 23 of the 25 players have basically been confirmed, and it is a very, very strange squad. It really is.
So who's the left backs on there?
Yeah, left back. So at the moment, England's squad. Oh, hang on, sorry, it's been offline into the group chat. Right. So we have. Sorry, bear with me. I had it before.
I mean,
yeah, that was Lewis Hall. All right. So at the moment, the list we had was O'Reilly or Lewis Skelly or Spence, which is genuinely unbelievable overhaul. So it's going to be O'Reilly.
He's better in midfield for me. O'Reilly.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah. So here's the team. Here's what we believe the England team's going to be: Pickford, Henderson, Trafford, James, Livramento, O'Reilly, Byrne. We will touch on Dan Byrne, of course. Concert, Gahey, Stones. It's believed to be the other centre back. Rice, Anderson, Henderson, Mainu, Bellingham, Rodgers, Eze, Saka, Madueke, Rashford, Gordon, Tony, Kane, Watkins. So that's what we believe the England team's going to be.
Was I saying that's a disgrace about Hall, but Tuchel has picked Walt in midfield.
Yeah, so I think Livermento's there because he can obviously do left back and right back, of course. But I think overall the England team's very strange. I mean, Madueke is in it. There's no Gibbs White. there's no Hall.
Livermento's in it.
Yeah, Livermento's in the team. Yeah.
When he's in.
Yeah, Livermento's in.
Well, you'll probably pick him on the basis that, you know, if you get fit, you'll be on the plane. If not, maybe I'll call somebody else. But I mean, Tito's dropped off massively, hasn't he?
He's had a poor season. Even when he's not been injured, he's had a poor season, hasn't he? Let's be fair. So,
when we talk about defensively, you know, 1-on-1 he's really good, but he does get caught out, doesn't he, off the ball? And when you go forward as well, he's an athlete, but he's not as incisive as Lewis Hall. When he goes forward with the ball, I would argue, and Lewis Hall again breaks through lines, gets past players who are pressing him a lot quicker. I mean, obviously, you know, look, Tino's been a really good player for us. I'm not saying he's a bad player; he is a good player, but like you say, he's dropped off this season. So to have him in, yes, like you say, it's to cover both right back and left back, but it just seems even harsher on Lewis Hall, the fact that if Tino's in and Lewis Hall isn't, and obviously O'Reilly is quality. He is. Can't deny that. And even at left back, he'd be amazing because he is such a talent. But you want two left backs, and can you really say that Lewis Skelly is been any better than Lewis Hall? Obviously,
Lewis Skelly's barely played, and when he has played, he's played in midfield, and he's looked good in midfield. To be fair to him, I think he is a midfielder. He's not a left back. He is a pretty hopeless left back. Actually, can't defend. So I don't get it. I feel really sorry for Lewis Hall, to be honest. But better news for Dan Burn, who let's give a round of applause to. You know, he continues to have just the dream sort of end to his career. Clearly a player who Tuchel values massively now. He has got in over Harry
Good old
Maguire.
Tuchel!
Yeah, he has got in over Harry Maguire, which is extremely controversial. You know, I probably actually would have Maguire in, to be fair. I would have had Maguire starting. Never mind, not in the team. But, like, let's just give Burn his flowers. You know, I don't think he's had his best season, but one thing Burn is he's a leader. He gives his all. And also, like, for the career he's had, for the last 3 years he's had, essentially 4 years he's had, it's just been brilliant for him, hasn't it, really? So, yeah, win. Burn, go in the World Cup. Could make a World Cup appearance.
If Carlsberg did football careers, it would be Dan Burn.
Yeah.
And you know what, believable.
Yeah.
To split syllables, and I couldn't be happier for him. And I don't think he's given the flowers at Newcastle that he deserves. He gets all the stick when he's played at left back. And
Yeah, I don't do that.
He's not as bad a left back as people make him out to be. Of course, he gets turned over. Every left back gets turned over. But I just think he's one of the most underrated players we've ever had. I absolutely love him to bits, and he will not let England down. Trust me.
He's a Newcastle legend, and I think that the fact that Tuchel immediately put him in the team, and then immediately he's just kept him in the team. There's a reason for that, and there's a reason he's played such an important role at Newcastle as well. So I mean, yeah, Tim, going to only praise him, can't you?
Yes.
Hesitation.
No, I was muted, mate.
Yeah.
So like, I think he's like you say, when it's an amazing story, and I agree that sometimes he gets a lot of stick where it's not warranted, and you know, away to Arsenal, for example, for all that we didn't agree, and for all that I would argue that the main issue was second half, keeping him on left back. To start the game, he did well. He did well against Saka. You know, and so before the game, everyone's saying he's going to get rinsed by Saka. He doesn't get rinsed, but not many people say, oh, you know what, I was wrong about that. He did brilliantly against Saka. Same against Minter for Brighton. Minter has to move across to the other side, and Dan Burn had him locked down. Everybody's saying about Dan Burn being left back, complaining, but after the game, nobody really says, well, actually, Dan Burn played really well defensively there against Minter. He didn't get skinned like I thought he would. So I think he is underappreciated that way, and he's been a bit of a scapegoat at times. But yes, obviously he's got his deficiencies, and yes, when you want to go forward, when you're chasing the game, definitely, obviously, Lewis Hall should be left back for us, and that's been a bit of a weird one in certain situations. But he's a leader. He's an old school leader. Not many of those around as well as we had in the past. And next season, he'll be a vital voice in the dressing room after losing Trippier, and even the likes of Kraft as well.
Yeah, Peter, echo the same thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, with the left back kind of conundrum, I think. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've said before, I don't think he's as bad as what's been kind of said about him in that position. But I think the problem is that when it has went wrong, when it went bad, it went really bad, as in like the Brentford away game. And that's what sticks in people's minds. So then you kind of forget about the kind of 6 or 7 games before or after that where actually he was quite solid in that position. But yeah, because of his lack of pace, it depends who he's playing against. I think, yeah, he's always going to be potentially vulnerable in that position. But he's not the absolute disaster that's being made out, I don't think. But ultimately, the fact is, you can kind of debate that all day long, but I think we all know centre-half is his best position.
Yeah.
That's where he'll be playing for England.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And look, he's not going to be starting for England. It'll be Gahey and I assume Conser now. But I can guarantee you that Burn will be a player that if we've won our first 2 group games, you know, Burn will probably start the last group game. If we're winning games, Burn will come on. He's that type of player. Like Howe relies on him. there's a reason that these managers rely on him, isn't there? So, look,
Yeah.
I hope he does. I hope he does really well. I know that, as I say, he's a lot of criticism. I was surprised Maguire's not getting in, but
I
looking
was
at
as
that,
well.
I think Maguire over Stones would probably make more sense. To be honest, I know John Stones has been brilliant for England, but how many minutes has he played this season? Genuinely, like none at all. So,
Again, I think Maguire's an underrated player. You
oh,
know,
Maguire is a massively underrated player.
yeah.
Massively
He's turned it
underrated.
around, hasn't he? To be fair.
Yeah, like look, when you think about when he first joined for like £82 million, everyone was going on about he's at the worst centre back in Premier League history, blah blah blah. Obviously because of the price tag. No one even talks about his price tag anymore, and that's a sign of the amount he's turned it around. And also, I don't think he's ever played badly for England. Genuinely, in his games for England, I don't think he's ever played badly for England. Or
That was
scored
just
penalties in shootouts, big
that was
headers.
that was the Owen goal against Scotland, but that was
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I suppose, but I wouldn't say he played
again
badly in the
blown out
game.
of all proportion.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, Maguire. I think I do think there's some weird selections in that, but I think that Burns going. I'm absolutely chuffed for him, and he's clearly someone who the dressing room really love. And look, obviously Tino, we've kind of mentioned it. I think if it was a choice of, I get because he can play left back, but he is going as the backup right back to Reece James. And if it was for me, if you're gonna have one of Hall or Livermore, it should have been Hall. Do you kind of feel the same way? Like,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Although, again, I mean, crazy as it sounds, I've always said I think Tino has played better at left back when he was playing left back than he's ever done at right back. I think when he was playing left back, he's been tremendous
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah,
But
I do agree.
is he better than Lewis Hall? I think it's a toss-up at left back, to be honest. And that may be controversial, but seriously,
Yeah.
when Tino has played left back for us, he has been absolute top draw every single game.
Yeah, I can't think when he played badly before left back. That is an odd one, but it is probably ultimately that versatility that has got him the nod, even though he's not fully fit. Was has done a super chat, so
He's saying, I've heard Byrne won't be getting a statue because there's too much brass involved. Bronze, whatever you make a statue out of.
It would be it'd be quite a statue, but I think we can get one up for him surely. Yeah. You with me?
Especially if he wins the World Cup.
Well, exactly. Have we lost him, or is he just off screen?
We've lost him at the minute.
Yeah,
I think he'll be back. I think he's just sorting something out.
All right, no, it's cool. That's fine. So, Peter, you are the same kind of vibe with sort of Livermore and Hall, like.
I bet you Tino. Sorry, Jack.
No, go for it.
I think Tino probably will look at it and think, I'm a bit lucky here to be in this squad based on this season, and that's partly down to injuries as well. I'm not totally slating him here. I'm just looking at the overall season he's had, and he has been out for large spells. And I think, like Timmy said earlier, he's been caught out when he has played. So I think the potential is definitely there with Tino to be a top player. But just based on the season, I think he's probably looking at Lewis Hall and thinking, like, Jesus, sorry, pal. Like, I'm going and you're not, and it's like
they're really good. They are really good friends, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So
just on the subject of Maguire's price tag, Davy Boy's in there saying that's why we shouldn't judge the likes of Elanga and Wissa. They never chose that price.
To be fair, right, with Elanga, I mean, whether he cost 50 odd or 30 odd, I would still have the same opinion on the way it's went with him.
He's been the poorest of the poor.
Yeah, but I'm not. I will say I'm not giving up on him because I think the players do sometimes take a while to adapt. It's just it has gone so badly wrong that it's hard to see things turning around. But we have got to. I think if you get to the end of this next season, if we're sat here this time next year, right, and it's the exact same things happen,
still done nothing. Yeah.
Well, then I think you just say, right,
you've got to bite the bullet.
Yeah, that's just not worked. Okay, fine, whatever. Move him on.
I
I've
mean,
actually got more faith in
he's the
Wissa.
he's the one player that I wouldn't mind biting the bullet on right now.
Right now, yeah.
because
Okay,
I
yeah.
kind of have given up on him,
Yeah.
sadly. But it's a big bullet to bite, isn't it?
I do understand, 'cause I've noticed even in the stadium, when he comes on, yeah, no, but and the problem is with that is it spirals, doesn't it? Because he then makes the crowd are expecting him to make a mistake. He makes a mistake, so then he feels worse. Then he makes another mistake, so then the crowd get worse.
Yeah, but the common denominator there is him making mistakes.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. No, that feeling in the crowd wouldn't be there if he just come in and not made a load of mistakes. So
No.
yes,
It can't be easy for him.
No.
I feel for him. I feel sorry for him, but I also think as
he
well.
seems like a lovely lad, to be fair. But
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the problem. Maybe he's too nice. Like, I think he needs to. If I was to give him advice, I would say, like, in terms of his attitude, he needs to kind of give himself a shake and just like be a bit more aggressive when he's on the pitch, and whether that's like harassing players off the ball, when you've got the ball, just showing being a bit more intense in terms of your movement, a bit more incisive, bit more kind of get your body in the way a bit more. To me, he's very tentative. And I think like his reaction is kind of the same as to whether if the ball goes out for a throw-in, for a corner, free kick, he doesn't kind of, the momentum doesn't shift in his mentality, in his attitude, his body language. So I would just say he needs to up the intensity first and foremost and see where that gets you.
Yeah, fair. So we've got like 13 minutes left or so. Shall we look ahead to our final game of what has felt like the longest season of my life? I mean, that Villa game when Alanga missed 1-on-1 within 3 minutes, that feels like a lifetime ago now, to be brutally honest. There's been a lot.
But it also did it not epitomise what the season was going to be.
Yeah, and you know what? It really did. Yeah, it really did. Who was to know? Who was to know? But we can incredibly finish in the top 10. I mean, unbelievably, we can actually finish in the top 10. We can end with 10 points from 12. Fulham, I think, are the on-the-beach teams. It's going to be Marco Silva's final game, by the looks of it. It's going to be a lot of their players' final games. So that can go one or two ways. They'll either give a really good performance, or it'll kind of end with a bit of a damp squib. Now, we've got a really good record at Craven Cottage when we play them on the last day of the season. So I'm actually thinking we'll win. I think we'll win. It's a game that'll be last on match of the day because it's the one that means absolutely nothing. The rest of them mean something.
Yeah.
Ours means nothing, but it's fine. But I don't know about you, Peter, but I saw some good signs against West Ham. I thought some of the attacking play was good. It was really good.
Honestly, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of the slick movements, like the
touch.
passing that. Yeah, exactly. One touch, quick tempo, absolutely immense. So definitely bodes well for going forwards. But do you know what? Football being football, I just feel like it's probably going to be a draw, and it'll kind of sum up. You normally kind of like at the end of the season, you get a result that kind of sums up the season normally, if you know what I mean. If I'm being like poetic about it, but yeah. But in theory, though, the fixture is a good fixture. Definitely. Fulham, like you say, they were a bit of a soft touch, I feel. So, super chat there, Win.
Just quickly do that super chat from Ian Fleming. He says, Win, how close am I to winning the prediction league on Sunday? Sadly, Ian, let me just get it up here. Not very close at all. I think you actually know that, do you not? Let's have a look here. By the way, he's gone 2-0 to the tune in the prediction league.
Right. Fair.
And he's currently sitting. Let me get the last one up. Come on. Where are you? What's happened here? Prediction. Leave that with me for 2 seconds. I'll pay you.
No worries. So you think it could sum up a draw, sum up the season?
It would, but I do think you're right, Jack. As in, like with regards to the fixture, with with Fulham, they are often a soft touch, I feel. Depends what mood they're in. And like you say, at the end of the season, I'd like to think their mood will be very much relaxed and their mind will be on the beach. So hopefully, anyway. Yeah. So in theory, I think we should go there and off the back of what we've seen definitely from the last match, yeah, I'd like to think we'll go there and get the win. So yeah, like I was really encouraged, like you say, from the last match. The football I was witnessing was just like, wow, like if only we'd maybe change things up a bit earlier in the season in terms of, the personnel or the formation. And again, I know it is easy for us to kind of sit here and kind of pick things apart, to say that you should do this and do that. But yeah, it was really encouraging. And I think I would, like, if I'm going to kind of flip things, I would rather end the season and see these encouraging signs than kind of end the season where you start really well, but then you end it where it ain't going well and you're not seeing any positive signs.
Yeah.
You go into the summer,
I do agree with that.
like doom and gloom. So let's end on a high. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I remember saying that was kind of when I really thought like Eddie was done. Like, after that Palace game, where was the new ideas? That we then lose again after the Palace game. I can't remember who we lost to now. It's just, I've just kind of whitewashed out of my mind. We lost to someone, and then we beat Brighton. It wasn't like an amazing performance or anything, but we beat Brighton, great. And then we get the draw against Forest, where in hindsight, actually, we played some good football again, especially in the second half. And then last week, just some of the play. I mean, the second goal is probably could be our goal of the season, that, to be honest, in terms of best football we've played, where we absolutely cut them apart. And you can say West Ham were all over the place, but ultimately, we created those spaces. We made them be all over the place and exploited it ruthlessly. I don't know about you, Wim, but what I actually really enjoyed about was that we weren't relying on Hall and Trippier to put crosses in. There was other incisive play with everyone close together. It was
through the middle.
Great. Yeah, it was great. Maybe getting Waltmore in the 10 actually is the way forward. Getting players around him.
We've got Tim back with a new background.
Hey, he's got a new background. Look at that.
Yeah. Needs must. My computer's playing silly buggers. So sorry about that. That's
no worries, mate. Well, we're just talking about
just for quirky facts, if you like. Fulham have lost 6 of their last 8 games against Newcastle.
Yeah,
both coming last season when they did the double over.
Yeah, they beat us twice. Yeah, so
none of Newcastle's 17 Premier League away games against Fulham have finished level. We've never drawn at Fulham. 7 wins, 10 defeats. No specific fixture has been played more often without ever finishing level.
Interesting. Fair.
Fulham have won their final league match in just one of the last 8 seasons, so that's their feet on the beach.
Yeah, they always are.
On thing. Newcastle lost 1-0 at home to Everton on match day 38 last season. They've not lost a final league game in consecutive seasons since 2011, 2012, 2012-13.
Yep.
When playing their final league match in London, Newcastle are unbeaten in their last 7. So if we play our last league game...
Yeah, because it's all the lads on the Thames, aren't they? So, yeah.
That's right, No side has drawn fewer home games than Fulham. So we need to smash that record. Newcastle have won just 2 of their 8 Premier League away games so far in 2026. Drawn 2, lost 4. So both of these wins have come in London, Chelsea and Spurs. The only other thing I was going to ask you was you were saying that you think it's going to be Silva's last game, which I have not heard.
Oh, yeah. Potentially going to Benfica by the looks of it. So Fulham are going to offer him a new contract, but Benfica are coming in strong for him. Benfica were looking at Ruben Amorim, but they've pivoted to Marco Silva. Of course, he is Portuguese, and I think Marco Silva is a manager who, certainly for me, totally changed my opinion of him. I never rated him at Watford, didn't rate him at Everton at all. Thought he was hopeless at Everton, to be brutally honest. And then because he initially was Hull manager as well, and he didn't keep them up either. So I was like, this guy's just chance. I don't know how he's getting the jobs he's done. And then, you know what? He's done extremely well at Fulham, really.
Brilliantly at Fulham,
And they have not much money to spend. They play some really good football, Fulham. Got some really good technical players. And I think he deserves a bigger move. And Benfica, as much as, all right, fair enough, not in the Premier League, but they will be in the Champions League. And I think that'd be interesting to see how he does on that stage. If that happens, as I say, Fulham trying to convince him to stay. But yeah, it could be Marco Silva's last game. Yeah, he's out of contract and there's no signs of him signing a new deal. So
yeah, I can't see him staying. Not leaving it that long when everyone knew he's out of contract. I think they've probably tried to get him to sign one all season. You know what I mean? If they've had it all season, he still hasn't signed it. It's got all the hallmarks of him leaving, isn't it?
I'll just double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, and then Tim, I mean, how are you seeing it? I mean, did you think that, trying to think, did you see some good stuff from the West Ham game? I thought that the attack and play was so much better.
And I kind of, I've decided not a while ago, but this season I thought it was time for a change, basically. And when you look at managers who are available as well, I thought it was the right time to part ways with Eddie. Golden handshake, massive respect. And I thought, he's stuck in his ways, and I've just doubted if he will evolve. And I remember what was the first game? Brighton, wasn't it? And he played 4-4-2. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, okay, finally, there's something different. This is brilliant. I'll take that. It's baby steps. And then we played the next game, was at Forest, I think. And we played really well first half and tailed off maybe second half. And it was bitty, but there was more positive signs. I was still a bit on the fence. And I know Ian on this channel was kind of saying, you know what, I've done a bit of a U-turn. And I'm more positive. And I was... And Peter as well, you were saying, weren't you? At the end of the day, he has changed something. So maybe next season he will. So before the Brighton game, I was still a bit cynical. I thought, well, let's see. Is it a token gesture? And to be fair, the West Ham game before that one. And to be fair, when the team came out and the lineup was there, it was, let's call it a 4-4-2. And so I am more encouraged because we played really well in that game. Some of the passing was quality. And if we can play with maybe a different type of winger, like a Ramsey coming inside with Voldemort in the 10, if Eddie's going to stick to that, fingers crossed he does. If he does that and he's on board with it, then I am a lot more positive going into next season, with Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed Voldemort in the 10 with players around him. It flowed so much better. And I was saying, like, Trippier and Hall I can't remember them having to put a cross in. It wasn't like just get it out wide, whip it in. It was all through the middle. It was all incisive, quick play. Ramsey coming in off that left-hand side to create that box midfield with Waldemar at the top of it. Bruno and Tonali in there as well. Ramsey forming the other part of it. And then Asuda causing havoc up front. It was a glimpse into what I think we can do next year when you actually play technical footballers and get the balance right with the physical footballers as well. And for me, it was a window into definitely seeing how you're going to get the best out of Walter Marder. It was, don't get us wrong, he lost the ball a few times, but I always thought when he lost it, he immediately tried to win it back. And also, he's trying things all the time. He sometimes does the simple thing, but a lot of the times he's trying something new. He's trying to split the defence up, and he created more chance than anyone else. And I thought getting the legs around him as well, we didn't really look... It wasn't really a problem out of possession because we had the legs around him as well. So, I felt good about it, to be fair. Right. So, I guess predictions. No, go for it, and then we'll do predictions.
So, just quickly, players were finding space really well in between the sort of attack in the midfield area. West Ham just didn't know... they changed it after 20 minutes. They just couldn't cope. They didn't know how to pick up our players. And, just quickly on Eddie, is it still a risk? Yes. If you look at the overall season to go into next season again, I'm not denying that. And I was the same as Timmy. I was thinking it is time for change. But at the same time, I can't criticize him for not playing 4-4-2 and then not acknowledge that when he does play 4-4-2. You know what I mean? So, like, I have to take those positives and acknowledge them and kind of give him a bit of credit for that. And it is exciting when you see it come off. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how the summer goes first and foremost. So, yeah.
Just very quickly, Jack, as well, before you go on, I think just the post-match interview, I like that as well. I liked some of the things he said, and we've been critical, haven't we, about Eddie Howe with his reserved demeanour. But I like that he still said afterwards, even though we won, we could have been better defensively. You know, it wasn't perfect. He didn't have to say that. We've won the game, and he's still picking up on that. And I just thought he had a bit more fire in his belly that told me, you know what, he is up for this next season. So, let's see.
Yeah, and like, look, shows you how quickly they can drag you back in. Because as I said, I thought I kind of felt like it was done, but fair play to him. Quickly, predictions then, and then we will shoot off. So, just a quick score prediction: win. What you going for?
3-0 to 2.
Fair.
2-1.
Peter. Oh yeah, Tim. 2-1. Peter.
I go 1-1.
Yeah, you're gonna draw. 3-1 Newcastle and being positive for once. Right, thank you very much. Yeah, no, thank you very much for everyone tuning in. As always, sorry, when you go through the super chats, mate.
Yeah, thanks for all the super chats from Wazza and from Ian Fleming, and for the membership from good old Prosaic.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Wazza.
Yeah.
As my background says now, Wazza rules.
Wazza rules, yeah, very good. Yeah, I hope everyone has a brilliant Friday and weekend, whatever they're doing. And we're on next week, and we're talking about a win and maybe some positive signs heading into the summer. All right, how are the lads?
How are the lads?
How are the lads?
Glasses and bands.